All right. We are back, and hopefully everybody's hearing. Oh, no, we're going to go like this, then we're going to go like this. It's all new for me, guys. And I guess it mutes out when I use my remote control to turn the camera, but that's okay. It's a learning curve.
Now we are not
We're not in it. All right. It's 8 p.m. and we're starting the show. What we always got to do is make sure Tim has himself in his headphones. That way, there we are. We're good. Welcome back, everybody. Not going to keep my headphone in because the delay is about 10 seconds and I get dizzy trying to keep up with my own words. So I'll rely on you guys to let me know, like, hey, Tim, we can't hear nothing. So, no, you guys, your mics are muted right now, so you can talk to them. You can't hear nothing. No. All right. So I got my guests in the house. You'll see them when I hand the camera over to them. But first and foremost, as always, welcome to the Attitude for Gratitude live podcast show. We're down here at 4026 North Washington. We'll work for recovery. This is the place I get my recovery at. This is where I got the jumping off point for me getting involved into recovery. So it's here for the taking. Come on down, check us out Monday through Monday. Every night, 7 p.m. We have a pretty Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are pretty big meetings. Tonight it was a little slim in there, but that's just because of the weather. So Wednesdays we have a 5 p.m. Women's meeting and a 5 p.m. men's meeting. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning at 6:30 a.m. A very structured meeting that takes place here. We have tons of events that are going on. If you haven't been to Will Work for Recovery, it's one of a kind. We have a weight room here. We have foosball tables, pinball tables, ping pong tables. We've got these little separate breakout rooms, little prayer rooms, a huge meeting room, and of course, the apple of my eye, the podcast studio. I built this with my own 2 hands. Pretty proud of it. So I'd like for anyone who's interested, though, being part of the show, to come on down and get on the show. Fridays, the last Friday every month, we're going to try doing the Free From Friday thing where anyone who wants to be on the show, come on in. We'll do 5, 10, 15 minutes a person, and we'll just see how that plays out. We're just testing things out, but for the most part, we're getting back to the way the show started out for those first few years, where I've got guests scheduled. And I know I've got some people already listening who have been on in the past, and you'll be hearing from me because I'd like to have you guys back on. Like I said, it's basically we're rebirthing this show, and it's what it once was, and it's going to go back to what it was. Everyone, we had great feedback for those first 2 years, and we just tried something new, and it didn't work out the way we were hoping it would for you guys, the audience. It was more of an in-house event. Like the people here were having a blast, but it doesn't come through on air that well, and we recognize that over time. So we're going to get back to what it once was, which between you and me, just a little internet, the way I like it. But that's okay. We get to try new things today. That's the gifts of this new life I always sit and talk about. If you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. What's wrong? Hold up on your phone if you need audio. Sorry, guys. On the inside, and what you guys are hearing, we're good. But outside of the studio, because now it's a closed out studio, I have a big TV up there and they can watch the show. Plus, watch through the little window right here. Let me show you guys. There's a little window right there. So people are out there watching the show. And there's no audio because we haven't pinpointed that yet. We're going to get speakers out there. So, back to, hey, you're loved. You're worth this life of recovery. You hear people come on the show every week and talk about their journey. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We got 2 powerhouses of the recovery community. I think accumulated like 60 years or something. Who knows? We're going to find that out. But we've got a lot of recovery in this room tonight. And we're going to hear about people's experience, strength, and hope. While I do what I do best is interrupt and kind of elaborate on certain things that get brought up, and then questions from you guys. So if there's anything that gets brought up that you would like them to elaborate on or for us to revisit, I have no issues doing that. You know what the show is like. We interact. That's what the show is about, interacting and getting to the bottom of this stuff. It's my Friday night meeting. So I utilize it as such. And we talk about everything. There's nothing really off limits. I used to have a conversation with my guests, like, is there anything you don't want me bringing up? And it hasn't even been 4 minutes. You know what? I'm a sensitive man, and I'm going to get in my head, you guys. You know what? If you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. If no one's told you, you're loved. You're worth this life. You're worth finding some happiness. And most of all, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you're with your loved ones. I'm with mine. So let's get this Mamma Jammer started, boys. Let's get this thing panned around like so. Please introduce yourself, young man.
My name's Brad. I'm an addict.
Welcome to the show, Brad. Sir?
I'm a grateful addict named Romney.
Romney, welcome to the show. And young lady, who are you?
I'm Greta.
Welcome back to the show, Greta. You've had time on these mics before, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? 3 times. She's like, you know what? You're up there in the top of who's been on the show. So, we're just going to get started in this. I know, Brad, you've been on my show once or twice. And you were on the Ride for Recovery shows, if I'm not mistaken. Did you make it on both? Or
A couple of them.
when we were out at the Harley spot, I know you hopped on because you were really a big pivotal role there with pancakes.
Busy, but I got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's the last show of my memory with support was that last one that we had way out there on the Harley way out on top of 35
I
or
popped in one other time down there at the other building.
2218.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, the other side. Okay,
And you were leaving.
I was on my way out.
Yep. Your co-partner was taking
Jake,
over at the
big
time.
fella?
Yep.
Like I said, and you know what? You're just, for me personally, I prefer, this is how I started doing it with, and I don't know if you ever saw how it was, Romney, but the other place, we just started having a free-for-all. It was like a damn party. And from the other end of the speakers, for the people out there listening, it wasn't interesting. It just was, you couldn't follow nothing.
There was no way.
Yeah, no connect. People weren't making a connection, and I get it, but it was more of an in-house event, which was fun for people in here. We had pizza parties and all sorts of jazz. But you know what? Like, this is what we get to do. So, I'm glad you guys are here. First, let me start by saying Happy Valentine's Day, boys and girls. I love you guys, and we're gonna get started into this. Robbie, I'm gonna start with you. First thing I'm gonna say is, get as uncomfortably close as you can to the mic with your mouth, if you can. All right. Yeah. No, it's fine. You can pull it a little. The problem is just, but we'll give feedback. We'll give feedback and we'll see how it sounds. Tell us about yourself. How long you been in these rooms?
I'm a grateful addict named Romney. My initial entry into the room was August 26, 1986. And pretty close to a couple decades. But I stepped away from my recovery, and folks, do not step away from your people. But I made it back alive back in 13. And this recovery supersedes that first recovery because I dug deeper and I allowed people to get close and help.
So that was, well, I know a lot of your stories, so I try to, this is why I always tell people, like, no, I don't want to hear about it. I want to learn on the air. So you talked about stepping away from recovery for a while. I know that you had, there's a lot of your story. I really don't know your whole story. I heard you share at SNL once, and I hijacked some of the stuff you've said because you said some very poignant stuff. And one of the big things was, I'm not sure if you remember or not, but when you came in, you said you know where you need to be into recovery, where you're supposed to be. Can you share about that? Just how you shared about it there.
This round of recovery, my recovery remains at the top. If I don't take care of my life and be with my people, then I'm going to make a bad choice or a bad decision. That is not going to happen. But by keeping my recovery at the top, I then get to be a part of life, all encompassing my family, my friends, and new adventures. So by keeping myself as best as I can, then I get to live this phenomenal life that is gifted to me. I get to, remember folks, you get to do the things you do today because you've taken care of yourself.
I apologize to everyone. I had the music on the whole time, so there's background. No, we could still hear, you guys. But I had a background music.
New guy again.
Hey, listen, I'm so excited that I knew we were gonna have a show with no technical problems. I'm like, yeah. So
was it Rob Zombie?
No, honestly, I got in trouble once playing someone's music. I didn't realize like I'm supposed to go pay someone licensing fees and all this jazz. So I'm like, it's fine. No one listens to the show like that. Well, they shut it down and erased my whole show. Whatever is what it is. So you said something about being in the middle.
I put myself back in the middle, but this time I surrounded myself with an army that covers a lot of the United States this time. And I am still under the wings of so many of my predecessors because that's my library of school.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that's been the key. I will not leave the middle. And my army will not let me get outside of that, you know, because they protect me from me.
From you. So, you know what? I'm trying to think of where to like try to jump you into a story. And let's take it from you out riding a motorcycle and a bear gets in the way. I want to, can you start your story from that incident to today?
Well, on June 16th, 2020, just on my way to dinner in Stillwater, my old roommate Michelle was behind me on her bike. She seen it coming, I didn't. Out of my blind spot came this little critter, you know, only about 400 pounds, and she dead stopped me. And the best Superman I've ever done. But meeting the ground at that point was not cool. But as soon as it went out that I was hurt, my recovery family encased my family and supported them and helped them and me. They're still all around me, you know, because I guess I am that problem child if you leave me alone too long. But if it wasn't for the support, my biological family and my recovery family, I don't know where I'd be today. I get to experience so many different levels of love that comes from my people because that's what we do. We love on each other, you know, and we're there. And life just continues to just put me in awe as to what I'm able to be doing today, what I get to do today, you know, and a lot of work, but never have I ever felt unsupported.
Right. And I know, like, you can hop into anywhere we go.
I was just going to say, you know, thinking back to those days, you know, I've known Romney his entire recovery, this trip.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking back to those early days in June, I think our first prayer get together at the farm, which is one of the sacred places that me and Romney used to hang out at quite a bit. We had like 55 people show up on their motorcycles.
Farm out?
Not at farm out.
Okay.
We went to the farm.
That same place that you did that.
Location where we did the farm out. And we did a couple of prayer parties or prayer get-togethers. I mean, we had to come together, right? It was COVID. Nobody could go see him.
Oh, that's right.
I think 3 people were allowed to go visit Romney when he was in the hospital. So in that process, we had to do something, right? Because that's what we do. We get together, right? It's the opposite of our addiction is that
Isolation.
connection.
Yep.
And during that isolation period, I think everybody was hurting. I mean, there was many of us that got together for that. It was crazy.
Was that COVID time?
It was COVID.
It was COVID time.
Yeah, because I remember putting together the ride in the Maple Lake Police Department and Wright County Sheriff's Department coming out and telling us that, you know, we could shut you down. And I said, good luck.
You're dealing with addicts and we're clean.
Well, not only that, I was just, you know, I said, do you know what who this ride's for? But you know, it was just a crazy time in my recovery too. You know what I mean? It was a downtime, but it was a positive time.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. Like,
well, it's in a way talking about like we went out and found our recovery.
Well, we
like,
had to
explain what I mean, because we do have a lot of people listen that don't do this life. They're on the fringes of entering it. People don't understand that there was a period of time we didn't have the option for human interaction meetings.
Right. Well, you know, so during that time at COVID, we did a Saturday night meeting every week at the farm, bonfire meeting. But after Romney's accident, we ended up doing a couple other meetings out there to get together and just talk about what we were going to do to support him and carry him and his family through this.
Yeah.
You know, and
so just
a couple of things that had happened, you know, I talk about this because of the brotherhood that we have, right? And the togetherness that we have in this fellowship. And Tim, you're one of those brothers. So being able to say this way is dearing, you know. His sister had said, well, you know, he's done living at your house, Michelle, and this and that. And I was like, nah, we'll figure out a way to pay his rent until he gets out. He's coming back out of the hospital, so we'll figure it out.
That's what I was going to have you elaborate on.
Let's raise some money. Let's pay his rent until he gets out, because this is what Romney would want.
The hospital, real quick. I wanted to sideline this for a second. What did happen? I mean, medical wise, what happened to you? A bear comes out, or an animal comes out, bike goes down, you smack your head, you go in a coma, you break your neck. I mean, what was the medical side of what happened to you in that motorcycle accident? Real quick, and I want you to keep picking up from there.
It wasn't that extensive. I mean, smashed the head, destroyed the scapula, broke the ribs, broke the tibia from the knee, leg was pointed that way. But they took me apart and then put a lot of extra pieces in me. I got titanium plates and screws all over. But when I woke up, was the startle, you know, because it's not the first time I woke up in a hospital.
Right. You've been in other motorcycle accidents and accidents.
I've been in accidents, yeah.
I don't know anybody that's hit more animals.
Yeah, I've heard stories. There was one time I was like, dude, what are you doing? A deer comes up, go through the freaking thing. He may have not said it just like that, but he's like, you just give it a little more gas and you go right through it.
That's how I was taught.
So all this medical stuff, how long were you in a coma? Weren't you in a coma for quite a while?
No, I took a nap.
Okay. So you took
I took a nap from June 17th till a few days before September.
June, July, August, September. So like almost 3 months of being out.
He hibernated for the summer.
He hibernated.
He became a bear.
Yeah, I became a bear, but my family would tell stories about me trying to unhook everything and check out. Well, I can't walk, I can't move. But so they put these big mitts on me and strap me down.
Right.
You know, but I don't know.
You don't remember it either.
No, there's no memory. Not even of the accident.
Yeah.
You know, but when I did come to, you know, I knew right away. I was told that my recovery people were right there and had been there. And I knew that because that's how we are. We are a family.
Yeah.
You know, irregardless of what happens in one of our lives, we come together. Like Brad has said,
yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I've experienced that personally. So you come out of this. I heard you first speak. First time I heard you speak was at 2218, their ride for recovery. It was like your first. They just got done with your bike, which people were like, "Is he really getting back on a fucking bike?" Not only getting back on a bike, but the same bike. They went. You guys went to town getting that thing back.
Yeah.
Back in order. And you shared there, and I remember hearing you share about things about learning how to basically everything again. Walk, talk, feed yourself, tie your shoes. So not only are you on this recovery journey, you're also on this. Go ahead. This is
we
where
did make him ride a pedal bike before he rode a motorcycle.
And you're serious
No,
too. Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
Come on, now pick back up where you were. I just wanted to hear some of the medical side of things so people understand what you really went through on this last
So while he was napping,
While he was napping. I love that.
we had many get-togethers out at the farm and out at another individual's place out by the farm to communicate about what we were doing and how we were doing it as a group, right? Because his roommate at the time couldn't help do everything either. His best friend Rita, she couldn't do everything by herself.
And they tried. Everyone tried.
A few other friends couldn't do it, but everybody's reaching out to a few of us that put things together. And said, we got to do something for Romney. And I said, well, this is what we can do. And we did it. And then I talked to another brother of ours, Big Jim, and said, let's
Big Jim, the ride, the one we had for the ride. Okay. Yep.
Big Jim P from Farm Out.
Yep.
And
I love that dude.
And I said, hey Jim, what do you feel about doing a ride for Romney on Labor Day weekend for Farm Out? And he says, okay. Without thinking that there was going to be like 250 people there, right?
It was a pay, like you pay, get a wristband, and like we're raising money.
Yeah, we were raising a little extra money to pay his bills while he was, we had
recovering.
We had to pay back some rent that, we had sold t-shirts. We did a bunch of things to raise some money to pay his rent, to fix his motorcycle. We wanted to get his motorcycle fixed before he got able to walk again. Because we knew that we weren't going to be able to keep him off the damn thing. And then, and lots of other things, right? Like the reality of it is the things that I remember most during that time is the prayer sessions, the times that we all got together on our bikes. We rode
40 plus people,
40, 50 people ride out to the farm, and we'd all get all our bikes lined up in a row and rev them up and send Romney the video so that, Rita or whoever could play that video.
I remember hearing the stories of it
at the hospital so that he'd hear it, right? Because there's nothing that got Romney going more than hearing his motorcycle crackle. You know what I mean? Ever. That I know of in the times that I've known him. I don't know if we back up to 2013 when I met Romney. That summer, I've shared this with him, but not everybody knows that that the night that I met Romney, I was going to put a gun in my mouth. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people know that, and I've been clean a long time. September 1st, 1998.
Not to get real dark about that, but explain the place you were at and how your brother showed. I know you're kind of starting that, but I want you to elaborate on that.
In between some relationship issues, something I heard in the meeting tonight about the only thing that makes us crazy is relationships.
Yeah. Imagine that. And again, happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Right. And life wasn't what it was, right? Life wasn't great. And I was in a dark place. I wasn't well. And I, instead of doing that night, because, it's not an option.
And you're clean at this time. You're clean. So you're feeling these feelings.
Oh yeah.
One of these deals. I like people elaborating how we're feeling.
We're more feeling what the hell is this feeling?
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
And
I can relate.
And I show up at this meeting on a Monday night and walk in, and there's Romney, and I didn't share it with him that night, but a few times later, after I seen him a few times, I shared with him where I was at that night. And it's crazy how that brotherhood comes together. And all the while I've been thinking about coming on this show, that's all I could think about is how we have a brotherhood together. You know what I mean? And
when I told Romney, I said, "You see who your guest is?" He's like, "I already knew in my heart. I knew who was going to be here." Because I didn't share. No, I just kept saying Romney and special guests, and with the advertising too. I didn't put your name out there, but I just said Romney and special guests. I wasn't sure if you knew. And then when I sat down next to him in the meeting, he's like, "I knew it was Brad. It's my brother. I felt it in my heart."
I knew it was Greta.
The real star of the show, right? There we go.
The most important star.
You're damn right. One of my
love you, Uncle Romney.
Oh yeah. So we have these prayer sessions. We've got this, or wait, no.
Yeah.
2013. You're going through one of the darkest times of your life.
Yeah. And it was, I think it was that moment that kind of kicked off this brotherhood. You know what I mean? And gave us that connection that can't ever be broke.
Right.
Because he shared with me his experience with his same situation. Right. and didn't even know what I was going through that night.
See how that works?
Yeah.
And
I love it.
And later on, we were able to ride together and formulate a relationship that can't be broken, right? I mean, he's an uncle to all my kids. My kids all know that if they ever need anything, Romney's there. Call him.
Uncle Romney.
Yep. And
You just heard Greta.
I mean, well, Greta's like the daughter or the niece to every
I know.
person around this,
Pretty
She's my
much.
big- Yeah, she's been my cheerleader for the. I love. Yeah.
except
Come
for
on.
when she disappears at a camp out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
And
boy.
then everybody's looking for her.
I disappeared at Pig and everyone was looking for me.
Well, she was hiding with Tom and Ruth. So
Then we know she's all good.
I was fine.
We're gonna start talking about a lot of these events too, because yeah, no, keep coming.
yeah,
The
so
bond.
forward. We keep moving forward, right? We've always had this bond, right? And it carried us through all these things. And then that moment happened of the accident and his nap and blah, blah, blah. And there was times during that we're like, man, we don't know if he's coming out of this. You know what I mean? But
When he's
But
out, when he's out in the midst and trying to get back to
well, and then when he comes out of the hospital, when he wakes up and we're all like, holy crap, he's awake. And then we get video. And I think one of the members was FaceTiming with us. And I mean, dude, it was like,
I'm not real familiar with like
so-
comas and long naps, but my question is this: did they have? Was it hey, Romney's awake, or was it all right? We're gonna pull him out of the coma here soon, or how?
No.
There was no pulling out.
So there was
Wow,
just
I shouldn't
he woke
say
up
that.
on, I mean, well,
Happy Valentine's Day.
he woke up on his own, but yes, some of it was chemically induced.
Right.
And that was more for his comfort, right?
Well, yeah,
knowing the
getting
pain that he
healing,
was going to
yeah.
be in, and
Oh.
he needed that to heal the ribs. I mean,
I couldn't imagine
every
broken
rib-
ribs. Ooh,
every
ooh.
rib he had was broke. So
Did you puncture any lungs? Did you puncture your lungs? Do you know?
No,
Did they? Do you remember anything from your nap?
no.
Nothing.
There's nothing from even a little before the accident that it's just blank.
Right.
And I have some from before. I know I was going to dinner because that's what I was told.
Right, right.
But there's nothing, a few more months gone.
Yeah. Oh, they told me after mine it was protective amnesia. Our brains do that. It's protective amnesia. Is the way the doctor explained it to me because I don't remember much. It was the day of Jim's.
I know
It
I
was-
talked to you that day, 5 minutes before your accident.
Yeah, I don't remember much from that day. I remember the ride and cutting out of there and winning that right there, and then redonating it to Anderson's, and then Jess rebought it for me. But I don't remember that day. But the doc said it's your brain protecting itself from the trauma. If that's the
Yeah,
case.
I've learned a little bit about the brain because in my world, I've kind of bounced it a lot, and the brain will protect you from trauma.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing about our noggin is it runs everything that we do. So if we don't take care of ourselves, no matter what substance we're using, we're already shortening our lifespan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But there is nothing stronger. I look at my fellowship of my recovery world. I could gather all the fellowship and go take over our country.
Yeah. Think about it.
Probably pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When we determine to do something, it gets done.
But the right way.
Yeah. Legal, healthy way.
Yes.
Well, when he was talking about that, having a fellowship or a brotherhood or really a recovery family all over the U.S., I think about I can't go anywhere in recovery. Doesn't matter where I go. I can't go anywhere anymore without running into somebody. That I know.
Yeah.
We're being 2 different world conventions, 2 different fellowships. All the traveling I've done in recovery, I've been to 19, 20 countries.
It's amazing.
To be able to go anywhere and not run into somebody that I know. I mean, I was in Florida and I went to get a bite to eat, and I run into a guy that lives in Maple Lake, 4 miles from the farm.
While in Florida.
Just at a restaurant, right? And we didn't know we were both there at the same time. So there's that. And then another time I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I run into a guy that I went to the AA World Convention in 2000 here at the Metrodome.
Mm-hmm.
That had years and years and years and years of clean time, more than me, and ended up speaking at that meeting. So I get it when you say I have a fellowship all over, right? And we create that because we need that safety net no matter where we go, especially when we like to run.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
if,
runners.
if anyone out there travels, no matter where you go, our people are there.
Yep.
I was just in Arizona a couple of weeks ago for a long weekend.
Yep.
And specifically went down to take a dear friend of mine, Linda, to a meeting to celebrate her 20, which was January 1st. And I go on Phoenix NA, and then I go to type it in my phone, and up pops Larry NA Apache Junction, who I met in 21. So I call him, and he tells me what meeting he's going to, so I meet him there. Now I got Linda getting her 20. Larry's got 34. We're sitting there. I got this old cat across the room looking at me going, I know you. I go, well, I kind of get around, and I start talking to Joe. It goes back to convention in Omaha, and I've got Joe across the room with 46 years. I got Larry with 34 years, and I got Linda with 20. That's what I'm talking about, utilizing that library of my predecessors, and that's what it's all about, because as long as I remain teachable, I've got a better chance today.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Well, I mean, we have a chance.
Well,
it's kind of a chance.
it was one of you guys that said this quite a few years back. I remember being in a room, and you worded it in a way that I felt it when I went to my next meeting out of state. I don't need to know your name.
Mhm.
We know each other. And that's the vibe I get anywhere I go around the world.
Right.
I used to say around the state, but now I've been anywhere in the world you go, you walk into one of these rooms with the fellowship that we have. I don't need to know your name, but we know each other. They talk about that. It's this fellowship was a bit, I always shared, there's these two parts to this thing for me. One was all the book work, step work, sponsorship, sponsee, but the fellowship, that's what, without the fellowship, I would have never realized that there could be fun.
Well, and it's like a lot of people, they feel uncomfortable when they're in this meeting, that wherever they may be, right? Well, I look at it a little differently. It doesn't matter what room of recovery I walk into, those people just ain't right. So I fit right in. Those are my people.
Right. Yeah. And it's spot on. I mean, it is. And Brad touched on it too. It's like this brotherhood. Because
brother and sisterhood.
Brother and sisterhood and family. And we get our kids back. There's so many things that come with this life. But you're listening to three guys that ride motorcycles and a girl. I've seen her. She's probably got more miles on her. She's probably got more miles than I do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have more miles than him.
Okay. All right. So I only got a couple, 4 or 5 years under my belt now. But this fellowship of just the biker community in this world, because Ram, you didn't share much about it, but how many of these conventions have you been to on your bike? I mean, not an exact number, but you traveled once summer comes and most of the winter. Crazy guy. Go ahead.
I counted my lanyards when I just got done moving upstairs and taking over the home that I got passed to me to be responsible.
Imagine that.
My sister and brother-in-law, when they made this decision to move to Arizona, they said, we're just going to turn the house over to you. And they said, because you're responsible again. I wanted to go out and get in trouble that day.
Right.
To show them, But I hung all my lanyards because I look at them from all my travels, and I can go back to those time periods and people. I think I'm at 37 conventions in 10 years.
Oh, and
So-
that's not just down the road conventions we're talking
Oh,
about.
it is down the road. See, for me, bouncing down the road, like if you want to go for ribs on Saturday and it was nice, we're going. You're in, right?
Yeah.
Then you go, where are we going? I said, well, Kansas City, of course.
And he's not joking. I've heard stories.
And that all depends on which way the clouds are coming from too, by the way, whether
Yeah.
we end up there.
Well, that's why you follow blue spots. The recovery has just in case this new view of life. Oh, there's a blue spot somewhere. Just go.
Just go follow the blue spot. When we're talking about, I've got some questions and people that are sending questions to me personally with the phone number scrolling across the bottom. Awesome. Keep them coming and we'll get to questions. I just want to kind of clean house with these boys. What is your clean date?
My name's Brad. I'm an addict. My clean date's September 1st, 1998.
98. And what was yours?
This time, October 16th, 2013.
13. The first one?
August 26, 1986.
So from 86 to 13, did you lose that clean time?
Yeah, I stepped out for roughly 9 years. So out of the last 39, I've been in this world 30 of it almost.
Yeah.
And that's the best times of my life.
Good stuff, Jalissa. I see your clean date on there too. Post your clean dates if you want, peoples. We sell, and that's the other thing I wanted to touch on when I felt like I shied away from mentioning another club. We don't gatekeep recovery. We don't find special meetings and not talk about it because we don't want it this, that, or the third. It happens. But you heard I brought up 2218. I bring up Serenity Village all the time. I bring up New Hope Alano, Fridley Alano, Blaine Alano. These clubs are the places that help save my life. And how many of them have we started runs out of? You know, just it's part of this fellowship and people getting together and figuring out stuff to do. I'm going to get to some of these questions. What's been some of the biggest hurdles in your recovery, Brad? And how'd you get over them?
Oh my goodness.
I said some of them.
Both my parents passing of their addiction.
While you're clean and you're recovering.
knowing that I have a solution for them and they have absolutely no desire to come get it.
How'd you get through it?
The brotherhood, sisterhood, people carrying me through it. I didn't get through it. We got through it.
Right.
You know, that's probably a couple of the harder things. I think I've lost either almost all my favorite people in my family have passed away due to their addiction. My favorite uncle passed away walking into work right after doing a line off of his CD case. His heart exploded when he walked in the door. That's not how it was shared at his funeral, but that's exactly how it happened.
Well, they usually don't share that type of detail at a funeral.
Right. Well, they probably
Oh.
should have, because maybe I might have got righter earlier.
Oh, you were still.
Well, I think that was real early in my recovery. That one was a tough one.
Quite not a follow-up, but I'm always curious about, and I know it's everyone's personal journey, and usually it's at where they're at in their recovery, but dealing with, I'd say your parents, because it sounds like that was more recent than your uncle. Did the thought of use come up during that?
Never
Never.
in a million years. So so through step work, that's the only thing that God has removed from me is a desire to stop, the desire to use. I haven't had it. It's, believe it or not, it's when things are great is when I want to use. It's when things are going good.
Right.
I want to sabotage my shit. Right.
Like Romney shared.
I deserve it.
Yeah.
You
Or
know, I
when
deserve
someone
to
says
go
you're
get it.
responsible, you're like, no, I'm not. I'll show you. But
Right. But no, the reality of it is that it's when things are rough, I don't have that.
it's
I
just
don't-
the normal to buckle down and dive deeper
It's-
into this.
hold on, here we go. That's when that 15,000 pound phone becomes 3 pounds. believe it or not, it's actually easier for me to call you when I'm struggling than it is when I'm doing really well.
When did that take place in your recovery? Do you know when that change took hold?
Probably year 5 or 6.
Okay.
When I got put in the middle of a fellowship. And when I say I got put in the middle of a fellowship, I started my journey in AA. Nothing against that fellowship at all. I believe it saves a ton of people.
So that's what saved this heroin addict's life.
It saved me too.
Yep,
It kept me clean long enough to make it to
Find
another
your-
fellowship.
Yep.
That brought me to another fellowship.
Yep.
Yeah.
It took a really long way to get to Narcotics Anonymous, but I am first and foremost an alcoholic in my recovery. A drink came before anything else.
I guess I didn't know that with you. I didn't. I just assumed NA got your gung ho NA. I figured.
Nope. I started out at Anoka de Alano, March 12th, 1999 was my first meeting.
So that last paragraph of how it works in Narcotics Anonymous is no joke, huh? Thinking of
no
alcohol is
As a drug.
yeah,
It is a drug.
has caused
It
a
is
great
drug,
many
as
of
it
us
is
to
a drug,
realize.
as it
Yeah.
is a drug, as it is a drug.
Well, addiction's
Um,
addiction is addiction's addiction.
100%. And I remember back when Anoka de Alano was on Monroe Street, you had to take 12 steps down into the basement. It was a smoke-filled room. There was a guy in the room named Biker Rick that I had absolutely no interest in being a part of his life. I had no interest in knowing him.
Were you writing at the time?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
A bicycle.
I had 4. Well, I was driving a car that I shouldn't have been driving.
Imagine
I had
that.
4 kids, so we were a boat was more logical at that time. So I had a boat, and I don't know, man. It was something else, right? I walked into a room, people were laughing, giggling, having fun,
Yeah.
and that's what I picked up on most. Life wasn't fun for me in my last days of 98. The last couple of months of the summer before I went to prison, September 1st, 1998, I went into the penitentiary. And that summer, although there was some fun in it, I don't remember much of it.
Right.
And the things that I was told that happened, oof,
Well, I
I
think
don't
it's,
want to relive those things.
I do think it's important because I don't know if I could say it was my fear, but coming into these rooms, there was somewhere in my thoughts of now what am I going to do? I mean, for filling time and for fun. I mean, and here's the thing is I don't recall your story, but like I don't have some big
We'll go to
bottom.
the beginning, right?
Like, yeah,
So,
go ahead. Was there a big bottom or was it
Penitentiary.
okay? No, and that's come
Yeah.
on.
I
Yeah.
walked into a courtroom so wasted out of my mind. I woke up 5 days later
In jail.
in prison, not in jail. I was in
You went to the big
prison.
house.
They took me right from it. They told me when they woke me up to take my picture in the penitentiary that I was the fastest person they had ever seen to go from booking to the penitentiary.
When I heard you told me stories of how you drank, I recall
Well, I was told that the last night before I went to the judge, I drank 2 1.75s of vodka of Bacardi that night.
yeah.
2, not 1.
This
2.
is where we go like this. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they told me. I don't have no recollection. I have no idea. I don't doubt them because I tell the people that offer me a drink, I went pro early, and you don't want to see what happens if I come out of retirement.
Right. Right. I went pro early. Well, and that's I guess I not highlight, but you hear some people talk about a big bottom. Like I had 2 years of a bottom. There wasn't some event where I'm like, all right, that's it. I got to be done. It just became hell. And that's where I always bring that on the back.
I think
of
it
saying,
was more everybody in my whole world at that point in time was somebody that just wanted to drag me down.
right.
And
Everything
there was
around you.
nothing that was looking up. There was no upheaval in my life. There was nothing that said, we're going to make it to 23 years old or 24 years old. Everything said, I'm going to die.
So this is, I guess, where I also try to magnifying glasses. Coming into these rooms, was that some type of fear of yours, or was there a worry about how am I going to find fun or joy anymore?
Well, yeah, there was always that.
I don't know if I'm wording it
No,
properly, but
you're right. Like
You're
the
close.
biggest fear that we have when we quit, I believe, is that how am I going to have fun, right? How everything I've had, every avenue of my life that was to have fun was geared around alcohol and drugs. Everything was geared around that party, the Wapatui party all summer
Wapatui.
long, the hot tub parties. We used to rent hot tubs, like 4 of them, and have parties, right? And I don't party any different clean. Just so you know, I don't party any different clean.
No.
I know you
I
get
have
it
the
in.
same amount of people that come around. I love to hang with people that love loud music. I love to hang with people that like to throw down hundreds of dollars worth of food just to have fun in an afternoon, because that's what we do, right? We feed people, we have fun, and we enjoy our life today. And so recovery to me doesn't look a lot different. I just don't drink. I just don't get high, right? I incorporated the same fun in my clean time as I did in my use. The only difference is I took out the using part, right? And I put in people that actually want to see people succeed around me.
That unlike what you shared,
unlike what I had
taking you
before,
down,
that just wanted to hold me underwater, right? And not that every single one of them was that way, because I do have two people
do you still
from my past that I would answer the phone for.
high school buddies or just
one was a lifelong friend
okay
that I've known for years and years. I mean, he was a neighbor 5 houses down.
Right.
We don't see each other a lot. We don't talk a lot, but he's somebody that if I see him, I do stop. I give him a hug, say hi, good to see you.
He just wasn't one of those people that was taking you down type of deal.
Right. I don't think he was really lifting me up a whole lot either. He wasn't standing on my head trying to make his way to the next platform.
Right.
And the other person now lives like 1,700 miles away, but there's still people that I would answer the phone for today if they called, right? And talk to me about anything life-wise. But Romney mentions things about like conventions, and I couldn't tell you how many conventions I've been to in 26 years, probably 100,
lots,
and 50 maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
I can tell you the ones that I've been of the different get-togethers that I've been of service to. In 26 years, the last 15 years, I would say 30 times I was a member and helped out for the farm out community, which I don't know if that's going to.
I was going to say, is there any future in that? I know where location situations
location changed, and we're up in the air to find out about that. And the Minax, the World Convention, 2 of those, one AA in 2000. I was a member of service to AA during that time. The World Convention for my clean time this last year, I went to the World Convention in Washington, D.C. Talk about
that was a biggie.
Blew my brain.
Well, and you know what? And on this same topic of just conventions and events, like we farm out, like that was one of the funnest things in my life. And we have all sorts of it. And I want to bring something up tomorrow. I believe you'll be going too, out at Lake Phelan. There's something called Real Covery. A girl named Nicole started something called Real Covery. It's a Real Covery ice fishing event tomorrow, Lake Phelan.
She recovers out loud. She won't be scared.
No, she recovers very out loud. It's open to people in addiction recovery and their families. February 15th, Lake Phelan, 1 to 4 p.m. The address is 1530 Phelan Drive East. It's in St. Paul. I spoke with her earlier. They do think registrations are pretty filled up, but if you show up, you can do some fishing. But it's gonna be a blast tomorrow. But on that same, I did want to give her a plug. I meant to do it at the beginning, but also stuff like that. We talked about farm out and talk about rides, and like this part of recovery that kept me coming back was this fun
just little pop-up rides. I mean, just throwing it out on Facebook. Hey, we're leaving at noon from Fridley, Allena. We're going to go for a ride today. Who wants in? Everybody meet up at 10 o'clock at Fridley.
I knew nothing about Wisconsin, how beautiful Wisconsin riding was until I believe it was one of the first times I rode with you. We ended up out that way, ended up in Stillwater. And then you get 30 grown men with leather and eating ice cream, licking ice cream cones. To me, it still strikes me so funny. Just to see
you can't go anywhere without it. I can find my bike will find ice
it'll
cream.
find ice cream. I love it.
No matter what.
Romney, what's been some of the biggest hurdles for you that you can recall? The hurdles.
Well, when this recovery began, I was brought to a facility to start rehab that specialized with people with traumatic brain injuries and addiction. And at that point in 13, that was my fourth major, only since 2006. So I bounced my head a bit.
Yeah. And you do, I don't want to sidetrack us, but you do things for your TBI. You go to TBI meetings or something,
yes.
right?
I go to
You're
support
very
groups
active
for people with TBIs, and it's just like recovery. And we learn from each other. What I'm experiencing now and struggling with, you might have just came out of.
Right.
So then you bring to me more answers and suggestions as to how I can get through that.
Yeah.
And for me, this recovery, starting out, I knew I needed to get back to recovery a couple of years before I made it back. It just took an extra bounce to the head for me to agree. Like, do you think you should clean up again?
Well, and a side note is I was in it recently you're here, so it's not breaking anonymity. I'll send it to you right now. We were at a meeting and someone had step and tradition topic and they were going to start going, and not rudely, it's something I would have been comfortable doing because I wouldn't have known how to do it till I saw my predecessor, Romney, do it. And he said, remember, I have a TBI, so let's not read like 4 pages or I will zone out on you. And it not gave me hope, but it showed me like there's a way to tell. So the only way I'd have been able to say that it would have came off sideways, or I felt I'd have been in my head feeling like I hurt someone's feelings, and Brad took it in kind. He's a good dude. And he said, okay. And that's what he did. He read 2 paragraphs. We shared on and kept going. But I think you shared, when it came to your share, you said, I have to be open about this and let people know where I'm at. And you learned that in one of your TBI meetings, like you're sharing about.
You see, and this recovery, I knew where to get back to. Okay. And after rehab, I was delivered to St. Cloud to a halfway house because I needed a lot of medical. But right away, there was a meeting every night. So I got to those meetings. I got back to the rooms, and everything just continued to elevate because I made it back at a chance alive. And that was so huge to me. I did not want to die anymore.
Right.
You know, that relapse was, you know, it was a methodical suicide over 9 years. And by getting back to the surroundings of people that only care, no matter what we're struggling with, you know, we get that lift and that support. So this recovery has just been phenomenal because I dug deeper. I dug deeper than I did the first time, you know. And my first recovery, I remember, you know, we're talking about 2218 and other facilities, you know. In 1987, when we got brought there to a meeting, that was the first Alano club that we weren't told to get the F out. Once they found out we were an addict.
Right.
And back in that day, you know,
it was really frowned upon, or you had to hide it, right?
Well, it was that way in '99 too.
So what club was this that they didn't?
2218.
Yeah, 20. That's right. And
yeah. Those old boys just looked at us and said, "Son, how can I help?"
That's what this
and
is.
It was like, whoa, you know.
Right.
But this recovery, as everything came along, and the love and caring that was surrounding me allowed me to just work on me and let life just be life. And as you know, Brad was talking about using the phone. I don't remember when my phone became weightless. You know, that transition.
Yeah.
And, you know, recovery, it equates into change. Once I started coming out the other side, going into the unknown, because that's what change creates with you, right? I don't know where I'm going, but it's right. And then once I've came out the other side a few times, it was like, yeah, I love change.
Right.
Because I always end up where I'm supposed to be and I don't even know it. That's what's really cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Doing actions I didn't know the results of, or no, doing it. It goes
Taking action,
taking
taking the
steps
action.
and things I didn't believe, but getting results I couldn't deny. But someone else said, kind of like you said, is I did some things I didn't know the outcome of, but I got results from that I couldn't deny.
Right. Absolutely.
Like I was doing things I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I couldn't deny these results, and they were great results.
Well, it's like
Deny how the
one
outcome
of the
came.
one of the biggest points of this recovery is it's about 11 months after bouncing my head the last time. And I'm at the farm at Campo, and another dear friend comes to me and presents a job offer to me. And I always tease Tanya.
Yeah, I want to hear about all this.
I tell her, I go, here I am working with you now in the field. But I said, don't forget, you really took advantage of a vulnerable adult.
Not that you didn't like it. Yeah, it's you talked about when your phone became weightless. I think for me that happened when I stopped caring whether I bugged people and just call them to see how they're doing, right? Instead of just like when Tim's name pops up in my head, I call him.
Right.
Right?
We've had this
We do
conversation.
this, right?
Yeah.
Because God puts your name in my head for a reason.
Yep.
My God does that.
Yeah.
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 And,
Out of the
I
blue.
don't have any
Yeah.
reason why, but I'll call you because I don't care. I don't care if you're sleeping. I don't care what you're doing. Pick up the damn phone.
Right. Right.
And I think that is when my phone became weightless. And another piece of that is that I'm the person who will always answer the phone. Like 99% of the time I answer the phone, no matter what, when somebody
Or you're
calls
calling
me.
back right
Unless
away.
you're driving a train.
The only time
Yeah.
I can't, that changed. See, due to the Federal Railroad Administration, they decided that I can't answer my phone when I'm at work anymore. I don't know why they don't want me to be on my phone when I'm driving the train,
Yeah.
but whatever.
We're going to
Yeah.
talk about jobs too, because don't let me, we're going to get back to what you do now and how you progress in yours and manage your job with this life recovery, because your hours are insane.
They're better today than they've ever been.
Look at, hang on. I said your hours are insane. What did his daughter do? Yes. And here's the thing, and I want to just real quick, I know I keep side, but like right now with me, I have a job, over 100 properties. I can walk into any house with tenants home or not. Me, Tim, this guy, it's me.
Not my house.
Like,
But my door's never locked, so go ahead. Sit
right.
down.
But I have this boss, this lady named Heather. Like you know that name, Heather. She's a nice lady. My boss, though, this lady named Heather, she's like, on one hand, I think, wow, she really trusts me, this or that. But it was how I showed up because of what this new life has given me. They didn't know about recovery. I didn't go out there and say, I'm an addict. I used to do this and that. No, I showed up. I started doing my job, and I can be counted on. I'm reliable. I wouldn't have been any of these things if it wasn't for this, for recovery. And people that aren't in it you can't explain it to them. I don't need to explain it to them, but like having someone count on me, they talk about these promises. And it's not money. It's not money. But like you said, when someone pops into my heart, I'm sending a message. When I think about, and it's only recovery, I think about that with my job. Having someone that can count, I can get emotional talking about it, but to think of who I once was and what I used to do, and now people count on me to give them heat in their house again or something, like whatever.
Accountability.
Yeah, we say, I mean, like if I tried to explain it to my mom before recovery, or me even, I'd be like, are they being serious right now? To me, it's common sense. But when you live the life we've lived, done the shit we've done, to say we're not like that no more and we can be trusted, that's
What do you mean? They let me drive a train.
that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Instantly when you're talking about that, and then I want to get into what you do too, because that's amazing what you've done. But we're talking like you have how much response with trains. People don't understand. Like you derail a train, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of damage that could happen. I just saw where that front train went off, but you got so much weight behind you and cars. If something goes sidewinder and you're on your phone, or you're drunk or you're high, like the responsibilities with your job, how do you manage that? And how do you get to manage it? And why can you?
Oh,
I know that's a loaded question,
yeah, that's a
but I went on
that's a big time loaded question. So when
I went on my
when I first
tangent.
started this,
Yeah.
21 years ago, I started at the railroad.
Yep.
And one of the first guys I met there was in recovery.
Oh, really?
Long-term recovery. And his name was Doug. And Doug shared with me so my ex-father-in-law got me the job at the railroad. I didn't get it myself. But
you didn't gatekeep, because I know you've gotten others jobs now since.
I put in an application. I did the work. I
Mhm.
put forth the effort. I went through the interviewing process. I got the job. He used his name as a reference.
Right, he got your foot in the door, whatever.
Right. He got me in front of the
take your
big
credit.
guy. He got me in front of the guy, right?
Yeah.
He got me in front of the guy that hired me. And I met Doug pretty much right away. And Doug had a relationship with my ex-father-in-law, so he knew I was in recovery, right? I was 5 years clean at the time. And Doug came up to me and he said, the hardest challenge of this job is going to be when you're sitting in a hotel and there's nobody to hold you accountable but you and your God. So just remember, your God's going to know that you got high or you drank.
Yeah, so that's a lot of kind of weight you're showing. I got to tell him keep going. Tell him about it.
All right, bye, Tim.
So-
We'll handle it.
Can we change this?
Free for all. Let's go.
Hey, listen, guy.
We can derail this train really fast.
You're a trained driver.
Without Tim around, we can
Oh, yeah,
derail
don't
this
leave,
train.
don't leave us to it.
I said that before the meeting. I was like, you know what? All I have to do is turn the mic on, and if I know they're together, we're gonna have there will not be dead air.
No, not for a
If
minute.
we could
man.
just
Me and
get 'em
Romney
going.
could do this all on our own for sure. So I would say that, that was probably some of the biggest words that I had to hear, right? Is that
God's
there's going to
know.
be time that it's just me and my God, right? And
Wait, I want to highlight something. I know I'm still in this for me, but I want to highlight the story again. This guy told you, listen, there's going to be times you're sitting in a hotel room, because I know a lot of us who are listening, and myself included, so many times once we start getting responsibility back, we start getting these things. There will be times you're alone. You could get away with some stuff.
oh yeah,
And our heads like to play that game of, well, no one's going to know
but me and
until
my God.
there. Yeah. Keep it going from there.
And that's the responsibility part, right? I'm responsible today for my own actions. I'm responsible today for sponsees, right? I'm going to have to go back to these guys and be like, look, I'm responsible
And-
for Greta. Greta's never seen me use.
Right.
Ever.
Miracles.
I have one child that has seen me use.
Yeah. And you got what,
and
5, 6,
8.
8? Oh my God. Fertile Myrtle.
Work on that number, Tim.
Fertile Myrtle's in the house. You know what? Wait a second. There we go. We applaud shit like that. All right, Fertile Myrtle, keep her coming.
So yeah, it's accountability. It's self-accountability. It's understanding that I'd have to answer to all of them people, right?
Yeah.
And number one, my higher power, right? My
I
higher
like that
power would
piece.
know.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to get away with it. So what do I have to do? I have to find recovery no matter where I'm going, right? No matter where I'm at, I have to find my people, right? So in St. James, I do have a meeting that I can go to once a week. They have an NA meeting. Once a week, they have an AA meeting. St. James is a very, very small town in southwestern Minnesota. And until this last, 2 years ago, I didn't have a car down there. So I was walking everywhere when I was there, or riding a pedal bike that was left outside all year round. So
Hey.
you know how good that thing worked. It was probably better to walk.
Probably.
So, but now I have a car down there. So I go to
That's
Fairmont,
nice.
go to meetings. I go to Mankato and go to meetings when I'm down there. I go to the meetings.
Is that
at
like the
St.
other
James.
hub type of?
Yeah. So St. James is my away from home terminal. That's where when I get on the train in Shakopee, we take it to St. James, Minnesota, tie it up. The train keeps going with somebody else, but I get
That's
to go
where
to
you
the
hop
hotel,
off and
right?
okay.
And then we sleep and then get on a train going.
Because like, can you even give us a quick side note? Heather, I love you. You're the best boss I've ever had, and I'm saying this out there to the masses. She tuned in and real quick. You guys can't see the screen, this is ego. Proud of you. Proud of all of you.
Put it
Tim,
in a box.
Tim, I know there's been times that I put you through hell and high water, and you made it through. Keep up the amazing work. Good job, guys. It's from my boss.
Right on. Thank you.
How'd I know she was
That's
listening?
because you
So-
committed.
All right. No,
So
you're
then-
can you give us a typical, like, I know your schedule is so crazy, but is
So
there
I'm on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Okay.
365 days a year when I hired out, right? And it was that way until last year. Last year was the first time that I've had off days.
is that because of seniority? You're
No,
finally there,
that's-
or
that's because
We're
we
slowing.
finally signed an agreement that gives us 4 days off every 11. So I work 11 days on call and then I get 4 days off. So
that you're not on call, or
I'm not on call for 96 hours.
So
right
how
now,
many-
I can
how many
shut my
years-
phone off right now.
how
and
many
not
years
have
were you
to
on
answer.
call?
I'm still on call.
I mean, until you had the 4 day guarantee. 20 years of no matter what phone, because I knew that about you.
Yeah,
no matter what we did, you'd
my-
always say, Tim, I can
I
come
might-
do the show, but I might have to
I
disappear.
might have to take off and go to work.
And I think I've seen it happen once or twice at events.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've got I get 3 hour notice. I got to show up to work within 3 hours of the phone ringing, which is fine, right? That's my responsibility. I signed up for that, right? I agreed to that. That's
I
kind of
mean,
like
and
the
you get
contract.
compensated. Okay.
It's been a pretty good roller coaster ride. With
I'd like to
Deborah.
talk about your wedding too at some point, how helicopters and icebergs and I mean, beautiful stuff. The stuff we get to do in recovery.
That's how you build memories.
And I want to go down this little path
So
eventually, but
yes, me and Heather got married in Alaska.
yeah, but if you even pulled up a picture that they got helicoptered into this iceberg. It's the most beautiful pictures I think I've ever
On a
seen
glacier.
on a glacier. What did I say? Iceberg?
Iceberg.
Iceberg, dead
Well,
ahead.
we did go see an iceberg. We did take a boat to the north arm, and we saw an iceberg floating in the water, and we got pictures of us touching it off the side of the boat. It's pretty cool.
I was peanut butter and jelly jealous when I seen
Probably
that
one of
stuff.
the most beautiful places I've ever
Yeah.
visited. But my recovery's brought me to a lot of beautiful places. I mean, I've been to just about every island in the Caribbean now. In the last 10 years, me and Heather love to travel. We're doing another recovery cruise.
Yeah, I missed out on that one.
In March. There's
Isn't that the
another
one? It's already filled up, right?
March 2026. Southern California area Narcotics Anonymous is having another recovery cruise on Princess Cruise Line.
I know Sam and Jamie are real big into.
I know somebody that you could probably room up with that's probably looking for a roommate, Tim.
Is
and
she
get with
hot?
Me.
Oh.
No, he is not.
But
But he's a good dude in recovery, and probably a good place for you to be if you're going to go on a cruise with somebody.
yeah, no, I was
Just saying.
Again, happy Valentine's Day, everyone out there.
And it'd probably be good for him too. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So this will be recovery cruise number 3 in the last 6 or 7 years, and man, I'm something about traveling with our people, and knowing that there's a safety net on that boat, right?
Right.
Like there's 400 of us on that boat. Now there's still 4,000 people there, so
Yeah.
3,600 of them are still doing what we used to do.
What they do on cruises. They get
They're
cruised.
still doing what we used to
Yeah.
do. Some of them,
Yeah.
not all of them, because I've met some really good normie people on them
Well,
too,
yeah,
right, that
yeah.
respect us, and I got this little pickleball habit going on lately in the last couple of years. So I've been able to play pickleball on a cruise ship. That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and you know what? There's other things like at this farm out. I'm going to tell. I know we got people that haven't been there listening, but they had a human-sized pinball. It was human. Was it
Human
pinball?
foosball.
Foosball. So there's these big bars going. It was the best. I don't explain what that
I
was.
still got human foosball.
Yeah, you're setting up 4x8 sheets. You make a big ring. You throw big bars.
Exactly what it is. Go on YouTube, look up a video. It says, human foosball.
It's the coolest shit ever. And this anyone out
Play
there
with a soccer ball. I strongly suggest wearing steel toe boots and shin guards.
Yes.
And a nut cup.
and a nut
Nut
cup.
cups are nice.
And it's fun to watch guys like us out there playing. This fellowship side and traveling, like my experience was going to Arkansas with a number of people on bikes, and that safety net.
Mm-hmm.
The safety net of the fellowship. I think about the one trip you took recently, you and another guy, just one guy. I think it was to Colorado or something.
Yeah, we rode the interior of the Rockies from Steamboat down towards Durango.
He was carrying a sidearm, I believe, because I remember that you put something on the Facebook. I was like, Romney feels safe. He said, if anyone messes with us, we got protection. And I'm not talking about a condom. It was funny. But I don't know if you ran into bike. It was there's a bike issue or something, but this fellowship and getting things fixed. I know you ran into another bike problem somewhere along the lines where,
Yeah, just a little one.
well, when you're putting 100,000 miles on a season, it's bound to eventually happen. All right, I got to switch gears back to this.
Good.
What have you done with your career lately? I want to hear all about it. I think that's an amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it was roughly 11 months after the last time I went down. I'm at a camp out, and a very dear friend of mine who works in the recovery world came to me and talked to me, what was I going to do with myself now? Because
You're back.
there's limitations.
Yep.
The right
Physical,
leg, the
yeah.
right leg, the noggin. And she goes, come to work with us at Vinland National Center down in Loretto.
And what is that? A Vinland National
It's
Center.
a rehab, but
Okay.
one of the core parts of Vinland for decades is people with traumatic brain injuries and addiction.
Oh,
So I was, okay, well, whatever. And she goes, okay, we'll start this. The next day she comes to me and she goes, now you got a high school diploma, right? I look at her, I says, no, I went in the Army at 17. She goes, well, we'll have to get you a GED. I said, okay, I'm there, but I'm not there.
right.
And so they line up in-person school 3 days a week for me, high school. And I went through the schooling for my role, at the facility. And then I'm in high school prior to that. And that was really tough because I could dial in with the teacher's help with what I'm learning. And then I'm off for 4 days. And when I come back to school, I have no memory. I'm looking at my scores and I'm doing well, but now I'm looking at a blank page and I have no idea.
You weren't. It wasn't sinking in.
There's no retention.
Okay.
I really struggle with that part.
Right.
Still to this day, but that's okay.
Yeah, I get it.
And so I'm in high school. It took me 17 months to graduate high school, but I was driven because of the support from my recovery family and my family, and the fact that I was going to go to work with three other friends at a facility that helped me start life,
right,
which I've never experienced. And also the big key to where I am today is when I came to and I got 4 nurses talking to me and they're telling me what had happened, how long I've been in the hospital. I asked them, I said, can you give me a minute? And one nurse goes, Romney, do you want us to leave? I said, no, you're fine. I looked at the ceiling of my hospital room like I was looking to the heavens. I said, okay, God, you saved me again. Obviously, you have a purpose for me. I don't know what it is, and I'm not a person that tries to, figure out what I'm supposed to do. I just go with this guidance, and a level of trust came over me, something I can't see or touch, but I knew had me. Life has just, it blew. I get caught in awe many a time as to how life continues to go forward. And if it wasn't for the Army that I have around me, I wouldn't be here today, because with my phone becoming weightless, I pick up the phone, and I send a couple of good mornings.
A couple. Side note here. I know I'm one of at least 25 minimum, just minimum every morning. Every day I get a message from Romney. What is that? 100? I don't.
About.
Well, the one day after the meeting, I seen you.
Some like 2 hours.
I was going to say, he pulled over after a meeting one day. I don't know if it wasn't long ago, but it was on Nicollet, and meeting's over. About 20 minutes later, we're going by and I see him on the side of the road in his phone. And about 10 minutes later, I get a message, and then I had to go back. I forgot something. About 45 minutes later, he was still there in the phone. So that was at least an hour. He's sending out, hey, I love you. Have a great day. Hey, Taco Tuesday. Hey, I love you, dude.
When we were in Florida, he's that way. He was that way. So,
hey, gotta take a break. Gotta be.
No, it was every morning. When we got up in the morning, we'd go about our stuff, right? I had to go get my coffee.
You had to do your thing. Yeah.
Romney's Romney's drinks the green coffee, so
Yeah.
his just open it up. But I had to go down to the lobby and get my coffee in the hotel. And my son was kind of slow getting moving too then. So we get started, right? And I'd come back up and Jeff would be showered or whatever. And I'd have to get in the shower and Romney'd still be doing his good mornings. I'd take my shower and then Romney'd take his shower after he got his good mornings done. It'd be about an hour, I would say.
That was when we went down for bike week.
That was when we went
Down to Florida?
Down to Florida.
There is no better co-pilot. 20
Romney,
some hours
25
later,
hours
I'm
wide
still
awake.
co-pilot.
He was co-pilot.
Two drivers, but I'm still going.
That's the best. It sucks when everyone's sleeping in the car and you're still trying to.
Well, what's funny is that through listening to this podcast, it gave me the idea that during that trip, we were going to listen to podcasts all the way down. So that's what we did. We listened.
Yeah.
We didn't listen to this particular podcast
Oh, come
all the way down. We listened to a person who was working through steps in a podcast. So we actually.
I don't
talked about
gatekeep.
step
If you know
work.
who it is, speak on it.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't remember.
I'm serious. I'm not.
It
I
was
don't-
the YouTube thing.
Okay.
We just pulled it up. I plugged it into my phone on my truck and away we went.
Away we
We
went.
drove.
that
for
just happened this morning. I
17 and a
yeah.
half hours. I drove right off the bat with Romney and I talk. I mean, every once in a while we'd have to hit pause on the phone if we wanted to bust in and say something to each other because it was all recorded, pre-recorded stuff.
and that's a technical podcast. So what I'm doing is not someone came on and explained. Tim, a podcast is pre-recorded, edited, and then put out later. I'm like, all right, well then this is a.
I don't know that this guy was that edited, but whatever.
Well,
It
and
was-
this morning,
it was
and what
pretty raw.
I want
Hey,
to.
I've been doing really well and watching that.
You're doing.
Proper conduct.
I haven't heard one F-bomb on the show tonight yet. Not
We're pretty-
one.
We're pretty self-contained.
And
Yes.
I'll bring up certain topics that I know you know. We don't gatekeep. And anyone out there listening, and I always say this: if you know of great meetings out there, feel free to post them on here. We don't recover quietly. Like I couldn't. I wouldn't have
Oh,
found
no.
this place.
So before you busted in on all that stuff, I was going to ask Romney, what do those guys at your treatment facility do for you, at this facility you work in?
Well, we've got usually 50 to 54 guys. I meet every guy when they come on board. And as soon as I see them, I say, hey, I'm Romney. I'm the certified peer here, and I'm going to bring you on board my way. And they're like, oh, and I take them off to my office and I say, okay, here's the deal. This is two equals. Okay. But together we have a better chance of following through with whatever we're tackling. And then I just bond with them, because I am them,
Right.
and I tell them these things. I'm no different. I tell them I could leave here tonight, only make it to Loretto, the little town a couple miles away, and there's a skirt outside of their club and waving,
That's yeah.
But because of recovery, I live this life. I'll never be perfect because I'm a human being,
Right.
but I get to be a part of their journey from the inception. It is so priceless for me to be a part of how I'm getting to be at work and like life. I look at all of life, all of my life. I am only a part of. I'm going towards your house and I end up at Greta's. I'm like, what the hell? How did I turn this way? Because that's where I'm supposed to be. And that's where my life is guided, not driven. And if I feel, once I get that feeling of it's a want, I spit it in my hand and I throw it away because that's not what I need.
I like that. When you feel it's a want, you're like, nope, 86 it.
Got to go.
So you touched on something when you were laying in that hospital bed and then you told them nurses, hey, I need a second here. Should we leave? Nope, you're fine. You looked up and you started talking to your God.
Yep.
And I kind of want to touch on this with both you guys. I've had multiple questions come in after you said that. Was this one of your biggest spiritual experiences in your life, or was explain how this ties in with your spirituality or your higher power or whatever, and how that
Okay.
looks?
In my world,
Yes.
when I made it back to recovery in 13, prior to that, I had no connection and
Connection to a higher power stuff.
nothing.
Okay.
And my mom informed me about that one day because I was sharing something about my beliefs and how it is.
Mm-hmm.
She just looked across her living room at me and goes, you know, I have prayed all my life for you. And now you're finally there. I said, what are you talking about, Mom? I mean, come on. This is the way I've been. She goes, no, you were an extreme atheist your whole life. And I was floored. I almost started crying. I'm like, I was, you know? But this recovery, because of all the people that were at Vinland when I was there, I started gaining faith because all they wanted to do was help me. I would come around a corner or whatever, here come another staff, and they're like, Romney, how are we doing today? Anything I can do? Till one day I stopped this gal. I said, whoa. She goes, what's wrong? Are you okay? I said, no, I am so full of care right now, I can't handle it anymore. And down the hallway I went. And that's where it started for me.
Right.
And it has came to a level from when I woke up, I was already gaining that peace. I started out with good orderly direction because it still wasn't there to be.
God, good orderly direction.
Yes.
Okay.
And as time has went, and like I said, when it came to and I had that talk, from that moment on, like I said, I have a level of trust like I have never felt in my life, you know, and that's how life goes. But yet that doesn't mean I can go run amok for a little bit because I know he's got me. No, because he'll let me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've experienced that.
Just a little bit. Well, I think Brad got you to kind of talk about that, but and I see when I heard what you said, I'm thinking that's higher power stuff, like this full circle of what you're part of right now, the place that helped you get back into life and feel part of and help you with the TBI, and they're there for you with your recovery. Now you're there doing that for that next guy.
Yeah, and that's where I get caught in awe in my life. It's like, how did I get here? How has this door opened, that door opened, this person come up and say, what do you think about trying this? What do you think about that? And because there's no resistance, you know what I'm saying, with what's brought to me,
Mm-hmm.
it just continues to grow. And it's priceless.
In awe.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I
did
get
the
there.
work.
Oh, yeah. You put
You've done the work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's because I'm not afraid of work. And the main part of this recovery is not external. Recovery is internal. And I went inside and clean out. Another piece breaks loose, clean out to become who I was always supposed to be. That's how I look at it.
Right.
You see, and with that, like we talk about in recovery, doesn't matter what recovery you're in, is that emptiness. When you fill that spiritually, your life is your life's going to freak
Total
the hell out of
psychic
you.
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, there's so much that, I mean, when we're talking higher power stuff and we're talking about finding our God or what you've always should have been, we have one of these little cards that someone sent in that has tons of questions. If you could change anything from your past, would you? I don't like asking that because it's not an option for starters.
Absolutely not.
It's not an
No,
option. And
definitely not.
And it's okay. You guys already both answered.
Absolutely
you guys are
not.
on the same page
There's
as me.
no way.
You wouldn't be where you're
I
at,
cannot-
right?
Actually, we were on the next page. You were just a little behind.
You're not the only one with the TBI in the room, brother.
Hey, it's funny. I'm the only one with a level head.
I know you're the only one, huh?
No.
Yeah. Well, hey, wait. You're the only adult.
Squishy in here too, but
No, it's not adult.
Yeah, you're right. But
Greta's the adult in the room.
yeah,
Let's be
she is the
honest.
most. This
Yeah.
one is the most responsible in the room.
That's right.
But I do. There's nothing I would in fear of. I might not be where I am right here. I would never
100%.
change a damn thing. I regret. I'm
I've
not
had to
even
go
regret.
through-
No,
I have
no
had
regret.
No,
I
you're
have
right.
had to trudge through all of that misery in order to be where I'm at today.
Right.
Absolutely.
Why would I? And all them fights and struggles and work made you who you are today. I don't,
100%.
because there is a question. If you could eliminate a year, no, go
See,
ahead.
and that's why I don't remember exactly when, because like if you ask me something about,
A date or
yeah, I go, it's just a while back. It
Yeah.
came to me. It might
I'm
be
the
last
same.
week, or it could be in 2021.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I all of a sudden this thing happened where I viewed my life as I'm finally living that life that was always designed for me. And that's just to be a caring, good-souled human being. It kind of freaks me out. Not like I wouldn't want to come across the
It
table.
freaks a lot of
and-
people out when they see you that way.
I know. I mean, I could snatch you by the neck if I could get away
Well,
with it.
yeah. Nice to know I get under your skin like that. Jesus. Brad, I know you've shared about it on the show before. I want to hear one of your journeys or stories about a higher power situation.
Oh, my higher power has taken many, many changes over the years.
Let's hear it. Share about
Again,
what.
like Romney started out with good orderly direction. It was the meeting, right? It started out as a meeting. I came into a meeting and it was a group I couldn't control. It was something that was above me. We had a weekly or a monthly business meeting that took care of where the meeting was headed and all that. So in the beginning, it was a meeting. And then it was good orderly direction, right? God, I'm looking forward to making some different changes in my life. And then I went through the whole Christianity thing where I was going to church and I was like, oh my God, this is pretty cool, but I still just don't feel it.
Yep,
Right? I'm
yep.
just not feeling it. And nothing against it, right? Nothing
No,
against church
yeah.
because it's a good thing. I never left there feeling horrible.
Right.
I never left there not getting a
There's this
message,
piece though.
but there was a piece that just
Yep.
wasn't fitting in my puzzle, right?
Yep.
It just was. It was like trying to force that puzzle piece together,
Mhm.
and then I was sitting out and actually in my deer stand,
How much closer to
Out-
God could you get?
out at the farm
Right.
on this piece of ground that is just so serene to me, and not everybody knows where my deer stand is on that property, but it overlooks the whole property, right? Like I get to see everything.
Not that he can shoot.
Ah, little friendly jab there.
Most of the time, I don't even want to lift my gun up.
I get it. I get it.
I
You're one with.
the wind
Yeah.
is my higher power, right?
Yep.
I can't see it.
Come on.
I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it's going, but I can feel it, right? I can feel it all the time. It's always
I love
surrounding me. It sometimes wants me to go places I don't like to go. Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's chilly. Sometimes it's warm. I don't know how else to put it.
No, I love it.
but
You are the one who always says the wind.
the bottom
That's
line
right.
is that you throw some sand up in the air and never know which direction it's going to go. You just don't. And it's been that way for the last I'd say about 8-9 years that my higher power's been the wind, and I can talk to it no matter where I'm at.
Right.
That's the best part for me, and
Even
if
at
I'm
80,
feeling a
80,
little
90
bit of
miles
wind-
an hour, we can talk to
well,
it.
we really
Right.
I really feel like that. But
I've
you
had,
know,
yeah,
and-
my
and when
deepest
I'm stuck in the
conversations have been on
cage,
my
I'll-
bike. Yeah.
sometimes when I'm in the
meditating.
cage, all I got to do is roll the windows down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel the most at peace when I'm in that breeze.
Yeah.
Not doesn't have to be in the wind, but
No.
we can go back to our trip down to Daytona. It was freezing freaking cold down there in
During bike
Daytona
week?
During bike week.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
It was windy, rainy, and I mean, you'd look off our balcony. Not that we didn't have a great hotel room. My wife set us up in a beautiful
Yeah.
hotel. Look off the balcony on the 6th or 7th floor.
Sorry. Go ahead.
We look off the balcony off the 6th, 7th floor out
On the
onto the
ocean.
beach, onto the ocean, and you can see the waves just rolling in off the Atlantic Ocean, and you can feel that breeze coming in the window, right? And my God telling me that, number one, I asked the right person to come with me in recovery to share this journey with, right? Romney.
So many levels. Yeah. Keep coming.
And my son
Yep.
was with
Jeff.
me, my son Jeffrey,
Yeah.
who is probably one of the best normie advocates
I love
this
that
program
kid,
would
yeah.
ever have.
I put on good miles with him.
He's been around a lot, and he just recently made a big move in his life too.
Congratulations, Jeff.
But yeah, it's those blessings, right? And in those moments, I realized that my higher power is blowing me where I need to be. Right? It's just that's where I need to be, you know. And like I said, that trip was just a blessing all in its own. It gave me a whole new perspective on traveling with people in recovery, other than just going to Wisconsin or
Right.
to the Black Hills.
It's like me and Jeff riding from Fort Myers to Daytona Beach.
Yeah, they
going
stuck
along.
me in the cage with the trailer. And they take my bike and
We-
Romney's bike, and they ride all the way over to Daytona.
I could see the rain. We're driving into it,
Yeah.
and
This
we're
is so
going,
funny.
and there's people pulled over putting their plastic on.
Yeah.
And we're going, and it's starting to rain, and Jeff starts slowing, and then he picks up, and we're just running in it. And we finally stopped, and I go to Jeff, I said, "You all right?" He goes, "Yeah. But you know, I was going to slow down because I got rain gear, but then I went, shit, I'm riding with Romney. I can't." we were drenched.
Oh, and that, yeah, except when it's chilly too, that makes it a little. It's a deal, riding in the rain, everything. So we got a question that came in from Greta, and here it is. Oh, that's a good one. This is off topic. This is out of the blue. Romney, you know what? Let's start with you, Greta. Greta, what is your favorite holiday and why?
Specifically, so I have divorced parents.
You have the
It's-
what? Well,
I have divorced
Well,
parents.
I just said I have the worst parents. Hey, one of them's here. Let's just lay on.
I can take it.
So
Don't
your
worry.
parents are divorced, okay?
It's specifically the Christmas at Dad's house. So we don't celebrate Christmas on Christmas. We
Mhm.
celebrate it on New Year's. And we're usually doing something like 2 years ago. We were on the ice 2 or 3 years ago.
So the last 3 years we've been ice fishing,
We've been ice fishing. So
but the first year we did
Bentleyville?
we did ice fishing. But where did we do when we started this ice fishing stuff on New Year's? What did we do on the ice? First year of the
Oh,
ice.
we
What-
brought a Christmas tree out. We had hot chocolate in the ice house, and we had a fire on the ice.
Dad doesn't have a small. Does he have a little tent pop up type ice house, or what does he got? Is it like
The ice castle.
Mobile hotel.
mobile hotel?
And
Yeah,
we
I
have
know.
everything but the kitchen sink.
Oh,
But
no,
we
still-
have
There's
the
the kitchen sink.
But we have the kitchen
Yeah.
sink.
Romney, what's your favorite holiday and why?
That would have to be the 4th of July
Why?
because that's my mom's birthday.
Double positive. Nice. You know what? Side note, mother, happy birthday for tomorrow. My mom's birthday's tomorrow.
Happy
Mom.
birthday.
Mom, happy birthday.
Happy
I
birthday,
love
Mom.
you. And you're my Valentine's. My
Oh.
mommy is my best friend and my
He
Valentine.
must want money.
She gave me money earlier. No, I'm joking. All right.
See, Tim, I've been so good because, you know, you are a little bit of my junior. I haven't said, son, what's your mom's name?
My mother's name, like the plant, it's Fern. Fern, like Fern Gully. Fern. People, yeah, Fern. What's your favorite holiday and why?
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving
And why?
because I'm grateful and thankful for everything in my life, and it's the one holiday that nobody expects anything but a fat happy belly.
You know what? I think I
right.
may have just changed my mind on what my favorite holiday was.
There's no expectations on Thanksgiving,
Right.
so I love Thanksgiving. It's a get together that we get to just Friendsgiving. This year's
Friend.
Thanksgiving was phenomenal, right? Like one of the best Thanksgivings ever was this year.
So I'm playing engineer over here.
I can see that.
Romney, how would you describe yourself right now? Right now. Hey, Romney, describe yourself to me. Someone comes up and says that. How do you respond?
Oh, wow. That's, I really, to describe myself, well, I have became, well, okay, it's real easy now. It just came to me. about 3 years into this recovery, my first sponsor goes to me, Romney, a male figure in your life. I know you didn't have a dad, but a male figure that really struck you at young throughout your life, younger years. For me, that was my great grandfather. I went from farm to farm with this man, helping, being a part of, always helping people. And that became my drive. So how I live is in complete reference to what I learned that this man taught me. And that's what I do. I could come and help you as long as you're willing to do the work with me. I'm not out helping just the world, because I just let the world be where it is.
Right.
Right now, this is my world. Okay.
Right here, right
and
now.
that's how I am. But I always seem to be brought to whatever it may be to be a part of. That's where I go back to. That's how I am in life. I'm just a part of.
Yeah.
But it's irrelevant as to where it is that I end up. I'm a part of, and I'm helping.
Yep.
And anyone that's met me in the last 11 years since I made it back has never seen that guy.
The old Romney.
And he doesn't exist anymore. So I continue to grow and just be a good human being. See, as human beings, an old timer shared with me in my first recovery. As human beings, we are only supposed to care, help, and love one another. We are not supposed to hurt,
hate,
irregardless of how you do it, verbally, mentally,
Right.
physically. That's not that. No, it's not in my arena, not at all. You know, as much as there's a struggle at times,
Right.
you know, but I know I can't go there, you know, because it's not right. And there again, now that obviously to me, it's brought by the God of my understanding, you know, and the people in my world are very spiritual and faith connected. And one of the biggest developments about 3 years ago at one of my TBI meetings, I meet this little gal, and she is very driven. She's part of ministry that goes into jails and everything.
Very
and
involved. Yep.
Yes. And Linda, her depth of connection, I think it's rubbed off even a little more. Thank you, Linda.
So, we got other people tuning in. Easter, rebirth, new life, resurrection, and beautiful pastel colors was someone else's favorite holiday. Anytime I ask a question, anyone out there who wants to put an answer up, go on and we will read them. I had a couple more questions come in for you boys, but I first would like to hear Brad tell me, explain yourself to me. No, the question was, how would you describe yourself right here, right now?
Oh, I love that one.
I was gonna say, didn't I just ask him?
Well, how I'd like to see how I look at myself as I try to be, or how I try to be, is a caring, loving person in recovery that carries a message of hope, no matter what, right? And I'm willing to help anybody that's willing to grab a hold of that other end of the rope, no matter what. Now, I'm not gonna let them pull me off the boat. If that makes sense.
100%.
You know, but I don't give up on the people that have stumbled. I don't give up on the people that fall. I don't at all. We cannot shoot our wounded, right?
Nor shut the door on them.
And I can't shut the door on my past either. So if they're trying to drag me back into where I used to be, sorry, honey, I got a one-way ticket.
Still got to,
you
got to protect yourself.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
In all things in life, right? And I surround myself with people that are in that same avenue, in that same want, that same desire. We're moving forward, right? We're not sitting still. We're not moving backwards, right? And vision minded, maybe, you know, I'm a giving person. I'm a giver to a fault in a lot of ways.
I can contest to that. I've seen you do that with your time.
Yep.
I've seen you like the Ride for Recovery. I watched you sell for 3-4 years. I watched you wear yourself to nothing, and you're very of service. You just went above and beyond every time I seen you at any event, not just the ride.
Well, I don't know how to halfway.
You're right.
No, he doesn't know how.
Explain that.
Do.
Yeah, explain that kind of for listeners who don't get that side of
I
the
don't-
things we sometimes do.
I don't know how to halfway do anything.
No.
Right? Like I
No.
can't. If I'm going to commit to,
Right.
like, well, we'll just take this commitment I got going on right now with MNAC, Minnesota Narcotics Anonymous.
Share about it.
32.
When is it? Where is it? What? Tell us about MNAC, because that's
First
another
weekend
event.
in April.
Okay.
April 4th.
MNAC 32 or no?
Yep.
MNAC 32, which is Minnesota.
Minnesota Narcotics Anonymous Convention.
At
The
the double
32nd, it's at the Doubletree in Bloomington. 4th, 5th, and 6th, I believe, of April.
Yep.
If you ain't got your room, book it. Damn it.
Yeah, they're
Come
getting
on.
down there.
They're
I just
getting
checked.
close to the
Yep,
end of the line.
and we
here.
do get a better rate if you go online or so get on there.
Just get on there. Go to minac32.com, book your room.
Mhm.
If you haven't registered yet, register. Ray is loving to help people register and get that done. You can do that online.
It's a great venue. Same place they do that thing called Go Over State at. It's in that same facility. So it's
Yep.
going to be a blast.
And I'm your fundraising and entertainment chair. So we have some entertainment going on. That's going to be some pretty epic stuff.
I know. If Brad's in control of fun and entertainment, buckle up.
We're going to have a 32nd birthday party for Narcotics Anonymous Minnesota. The convention itself is 32nd. So we're going to have a 32nd birthday party after our main entertainment.
Do we have an expected number that we're 1,000 people? 5,000? Do we?
I hope we get closer to 3.
3,000?
I think our goal was 3. I think in past years, I think the most we've had is like 2,400, 2,500,
I think
something
we'll
like that.
get up there.
Addicts.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're having a great jewel heist at the convention. It's
Explain a
scavenger
jewel
hunt.
heist.
So,
Yeah.
throughout this last year, the journey we've had this thing called the diamond heist amongst Narcotics Anonymous meetings, which is much like the pass the flag, pass the torch, whatever. If you want to get the
Or
diamond,
capture the flag.
capture the
Yeah.
flag. You got to go to the meeting with a minimum of 3 members. The meeting that's holding the diamond, you can heist it if you have 3 members.
And the diamond is the flag, the Narcotics Anonymous flag, or what is it?
No,
it's a diamond in a box because our theme for Minute 32 is diamonds in the rough.
Okay. So
And
3, what's the qualifications again?
You need to have a minimum of 3 members from
Okay.
your home group or your home area.
Okay.
Go to the meeting and be on time to the meeting.
Yeah.
Sit through
Be on time to the meeting. Hear that part.
And
Yeah.
stay
sit
till
through
the
the
end.
entire meeting, stay to the end, take a photo with the diamond and send it into minac32.com and take it to your group. And then somebody else can come heist it from your
From you.
group.
Yep.
It's just a way for us to get people out and go to other meetings, right?
I think it's a great thing.
And one of the things we're going to do at Minac 32 is share how many miles that diamond has made it and how many versions have had to be made because it's broke that many times. I think we're on diamond number 4 or 5.
Yeah.
This one's got enough
Addict shit.
epoxy in it that it shouldn't fall apart. But
Right.
but yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a big jewel heist at the convention. It's going to be a scavenger hunt. You got to know our literature. Any answer to any of these questions can be found in our literature of Narcotics Anonymous.
Through our literature.
So it'll be a QR code VR through your phone. You can just scan the QR code, find your.
It's a great idea.
You'll get 3 or 4 questions. There's 5 diamonds. The end is the ghost diamond. You have to find the ghost diamond. Everybody who completes this, you get to take a bandit selfie of yourself. And then we're trying to figure out and navigate a way to upload those bandit photos. So basically the way to stay anonymous is we'll have a bandit mask on your face when you take the picture.
Oh, that's a good idea.
like a filter.
Oh, yeah, I'd kind of keep that in
Yeah,
And then
That's
on
boring.
the wall behind Sam B, who's the chair for MNAC 32, we're hoping that we're going to be able to put all those faces up on the wall that completed that on Saturday night. And then we've got, oh man, there's so much stuff going on. We're going to bring yard games indoors.
Nice.
So the pool.
Because they have a big courtyard plus a pool down
the
there.
area next to the pool where normally they do the banquet.
Yep.
We're going to turn that into a yard game section.
Nice.
So
bags
we're gonna have bags. Holy board. It's a new game that a lot of people probably haven't played.
We have one back here. It's still sitting in the box. And those little things with the balls on the string.
Nope, we won't be having that one.
Oh, that's the dangerous one?
That one's one of those ones that the kids like to throw the balls at each other or strangle each other. So,
and no yard darts.
No yard darts.
Bocce?
I don't know if we have room for it, but
I was gonna say I have a bunch of. We'll talk after if you need anything.
I've got lots of yard games. If anybody's seen, I bring a 7x14 close trailer with me for my yard games, so I think we'll be okay.
Garage is filled with them.
It's almost like you've had 8 kids.
No, almost like I do a lot of these functions.
No, yeah, it's what I was gonna say. This goes kind of hand in hand with what I was saying about Brad, and ties into us saying like we do attic shit. Like we can't.
Yeah, who needs 3 sets of bags?
Right.
This guy. Who needs 7 folding tables?
We go all in. So my opinion of Romney is caring, affectionate, joyful, respectful, and responsible from our very own Carolyn Von Holton.
Okay.
Carolyn, do you remember Romney?
She said yes, the new one.
We love you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn. I love you.
Yeah, congrats. What are we congrating? She hit clean time?
Not too long ago, if I thought I read it. Or it's coming up.
So also, I'm not good at multitasking, as you can see. No, that's the part. Both Romney.
Is that why you close your eyes while you're trying to talk?
I'm trying to think. Yeah. It's not real poignant or spiritual. That's
so it's back to the MinAct 32 thing.
Yes.
We've got a lot of speakers. There's a lot of meetings goes on 24 hours a day. There will be something going on in that building. Right?
24 hours.
Well, the marathon meeting is actually going to close from I think 1 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay.
But we're working on that. Don't worry, Rom. But there will be always somebody available, right? Somebody's always going to be away.
It only
Somebody's
takes
always
2
going to be
people.
around.
Yep.
Right?
Only takes 2 people.
And yeah, it's a convention, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna.
Yeah.
What better way to get to know your fellow addict, right? What better way to communicate and get to know more people in recovery and build this empire, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has been probably one of the most time-consuming and sanity testing position I've ever held.
So
in my
you
recovery,
struggled at moments with too much personality on the principal.
Maybe a little of that.
What, like wanting it my way?
No, I don't ever struggle with that. Do I?
Oh
Jim?
no,
I don't know. I am being serious. You know, I asked
too.
I ask questions that we know the answers to, but these are still things.
Yes.
Just because you've got double-digit years, you still deal with some things you have to work on.
I still get in the way.
There you go. That's perfectly said.
that's why we always remain
But
teachable.
the work is real, like we.
Oh yeah,
it's a committee, right? It's a group.
It's a year-long commitment.
Keep sharing about it.
We also have another event coming up for that, an awareness event. There's 2 of them actually coming up before the event happens. One of them is we're having a speaker jam on March 1st at St. Matthew's Church, 4101 Washington Street Northeast. It'll be 4 Narcotics Anonymous speakers plus Sloppy Joe's. There's $10 to get in, $6 from a treatment facility, and we're going to do some kind of an award for the treatment facility that brings the most amount of people, which is kind of cool. And we're charging those treatment facilities $6 per person versus the 10. And then other stuff will be for sale as well as our merch and things like that for MinAct 32. But then there's also the volleyball tournament in the Rith area is coming up. I don't know when that is though. That's in March. I think the 22nd
or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around the 3rd weekend in March. And I don't know a whole lot of details about that get together, but pretty cool stuff, right? And this is how we recover, right? We put these things together and we just do it. We just do.
We recover out loud.
That's right.
Well,
we do.
I was
Yeah.
sharing while you were gone about the MINAC awareness events that are leading up to it, and those go to fund this convention, right? MINAC 32, because registration alone doesn't pay for that big building. I don't know if anybody knows that.
No,
It's about
no, I don't think people do understand that. The
$50,000 to $60,000, I think it takes just for
Thousand.
the facility
Yeah.
itself
to rent out the whole place. So
Plus, we bring speakers in from all over the United States to
we
speak.
fly them in,
We
we
fly
pay
'em
for
in,
the
we pay for the
rooms, we
rooms.
feed them. Now, what is registration? What is it, like $80?
I think
with entertainment.
Yeah,
I think
and-
it's 120.
Okay, so like that's just real quick.
I
100.
think it's 80 for a basic or 60
Yeah.
for a basic, and then 100
60 for basic and then 20 for entertainment.
Let's just go with the $200. And if 1,000 show up, that's 20 grand. We're still coming up short about 30 grand.
Correct.
I mean, just to put this number out there for people, things aren't cheap. And a lot of people, like I know Scars and Tattoos that takes place at 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings over at Ikomi Tattoos, 1415 West 35th Street. We were finally at a place where we were able to kick some money up and things like that. When meetings are able to donate some money towards area or whatever, we all need to do our part when we're able to. And anyone listening, I mean, we always talk about that. If you're able to donate to these type of places, like they really could use the help.
So yeah, basic registration, I just looked it up, is $60 for basic,
Yeah.
80 for the full, which gives you the $20 for our entertainer, who is a corporate magician comedian.
It's gonna be a blast, dude.
He's very interactive.
Mhm.
I've seen his video. It's really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to this adventure. And I never, in my early years in recovery, found my recovery in a hotel. I never did. I never did these conventions. I did campouts. I did lots of adventurous things outdoors, mostly.
Yeah.
They were more affordable.
Mhm.
For a family guy who's got lots of kids.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier to
Right.
take these
Throw-
kids
throw a
to go
tent.
Throw a tent up. Yeah.
to
And
these
it's
events
fun.
rather than $150 a night in a hotel, right?
Mhm.
So I haven't been to a lot of hotel conventions until the last few years when my kids have grown up and moved on.
Mhm.
Well, Greta's still with us, but she doesn't really count all that much.
Oh,
Usually go.
So yeah, so it's I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes. But yes, the experience of being of service to this has been trying, right? It's been a lot of different personalities on this committee, and
It always is whenever you're putting together any event.
right.
I hope
Right. I've heard Paul and Carolyn talk about that a lot. Like the things that we put on down here. I mean, for starters, there's money, a lot of money that's got to get put up front. Then we got a lot of people that we're counting on to step up, like you're doing with MINAC. It's all volunteers. It's
Right.
all volunteers or outside donations coming in. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of work. And you have a full-time job. Beyond a full-time job. Like you got a double full-time job and
Yeah.
on call.
Well, and I work besides my work, so I mean, I'll be going to work tonight to
Pushing
remove
snow, right?
So,
Yeah.
yeah. I work and I work and I work.
And you show up as a dad and you show up in the rooms and it's all because of what?
It's because of my recovery. Without my recovery, I don't have any of this. I know that. And you had talked earlier about navigating my job. I would have never made it 15 minutes in my career had I still been using. There's no
Right.
way that I could have.
No.
I would have missed my first phone call
You sure would have,
because I
because
would have been so freaking hammered. I wouldn't have known what's this thing?
that's,
Phone? I got to answer that? What the hell is
that's
that?
because when we're out there, we have a master's degree. It's not from college. It's just, all it says is master at irresponsibility.
Right.
Yep.
Because it's not what I want to do.
And,
There's that want.
Right.
and I don't know, man. That's a question you could ask Greta. What would you do if you saw Dad drinking today or getting high?
I'd be scared because I've never
Scared.
seen it and I don't want to. Like you always say it. Because you always say if someone ever asks me for a drink, I'll say no. I'm allergic to it. I break out in handcuffs.
Huh?
You always say that, and I just think.
I mean, and here's the thing: is I know you've taken Greta with you quite a bit to the rooms, like to events, and she's seen Dad growing up in this. She's grown up seeing Dad in this, and I don't know if it's somewhere I'd
She's
say
got more recovery family than I do.
she's got more time than I do. Shit.
I got 13 years.
Yeah, that's double what I got almost. It's to me, one of the biggest things I get to see and share about is family. It's this thing because usually we burn that down. We always hurt the ones we love, from my experience. And then to see a parent with their child or a son with their parents, being able to be present again or being
That's
present.
priceless.
2 years ago, my son was the reason why I was at Pig. My normie son.
What do you mean?
My normie son says, "Dad, are we going to Pig this year?"
And explain what Pig is.
Pig is a function out on, where do we hold that thing now?
Isn't it at the river?
It's at the Apple
River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Float. I don't know which. I'm not going to.
Whatever. River's Edge, Float
River's
Right,
Edge,
whatever.
thank you.
Yeah.
River's
It's
Edge
one of them.
campground.
Yep.
Great get together. If you've never done it, look, man, I can baffle
Hundreds of
anybody.
people.
100. Yeah. And you don't even have to really be like an active recovery. Like it's good, healthy fun, family friendly.
100%.
Yeah.
And we party, dude. We party. out
Yeah.
there. It's a lot of fun. I've never eaten more food in my life.
Most people hear that and they think, wow, they got all
You
effed
can't
up.
walk more than 10 feet. You're finishing that burger and someone's throwing a chicken leg
Yeah,
at you or
yep.
something.
I've been going for the last few years and I've never stayed the night. It's that for me, it was that fun. I drive there, drive home, drive there, drive home.
So yeah, my son calls me up and he says, "Dad, are we going to Pig this year?" And I'm like, "Well, I wasn't really planning on it." He's like, "Well, I want to go." We're talking about my normie son.
Normie,
Right? He wants to come out and be a part of this, right? Because he sees what it does for me, but it also is a place for him to be able to cope with some of the things that he's had to endure in his life, right? With an addict mom and my entire side of my family being in addiction. He's able to find and navigate his way through and find out how to deal with all of that, right? All of that side and talk to other people in recovery. Like,
But he knows how to, he's safe to open up
Yes.
at whatever's going down.
And I probably seen him for like 45 minutes of the whole weekend.
You know what?
He spent more time with my sponsor that trip than I did.
I had one of
the peers.
like I don't know if it was the first or second time I rode with you guys, but it was one of the first times I met him, and I think he had his girl on the bike or something. We were out at A&W eating ice cream, about 40 of us, and I think I sat and talked to him for 45 minutes.
That was his best friend's wife, but yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was some
Say,
woman.
girl, he doesn't.
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, we bike talk, and then I think that you told me horror stories of you drinking, going in the ditch off some Windsor or some crazy story. But then me and him just sat and chopped it up. I was like, I didn't know at the time that he wasn't one of us. I don't even know if I knew. I'm pretty sure I knew he was your son, but it's just what it is. We're good group of people that it's safe to go do life.
Right.
Safe to do life.
That's exactly right.
And before I came to these rooms, I didn't know that was an option in life.
100%.
I just didn't know.
No.
Just like when someone looked me in the eyes and said, "You don't ever have to use again." To me, sure, it sounds like, yeah, it's common sense, but I never said it to I never said out loud. Like, I don't ever have to use again. It's one of those weird things. I always,
I didn't even hear it in my first treatment.
see, I always correlated that experience I had on Goodwill Hunting when he's like, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault." And the dude starts crying and shit. Because when he did it to me, I got all emotional. He had his hands on my shoulders. He's looking, he's like, Tim, you don't ever have to use again, Tim. And he said it about 4 times, and tears and shit are rolling down my eyes. I'm like, okay, I know. I don't have to use it. But I can laugh at it now, but we can do shit like that. Like I can open up and break down to another man in the program because of the program. And it's like I said, it's what gave a mom her son back. It gave a dad his kid back. Gave people they can rely on again. Everyone who has checked in, thank you. No, go ahead, Ron.
See, you touched on emotions, feelings and emotions, you know, the most crippling part of life at times. But then as you learn, we're only supposed to experience them because there's a lesson in everything we experience. It's not, it's going to be easy.
It's not all going to be easy.
But experiencing it and growing from it. That's the key. Continually growing. I'll never grow up,
No.
but I'll grow.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't.
still in middle school.
Right.
We still love the bike lane, especially in Florida, don't we, Ron?
Yes, sir.
This thing about emotions. I'm glad that you did bring up the topic because it's something that kept me higher drunk. It was without knowing it for years, without knowing that that's what the hell I was doing. Because I share about it with, let's just fictitiously say, a relationship situation, feeling these feelings. See, my whole life I was either drinking or smoking pot or something, my whole life. So I never really felt those type of feelings before. Get into recovery and you feel it for real. And I shared, I don't know, it may have been with you or I may have been with you on one of the calls, but I was sharing with someone, I was like, fucking, it hurts, pardon my language. It hurts so bad. It's just, it hurts. Why? I've been through this. I've had 5-year relationships, 8-year. Why does this hurt so bad?
You're not medicating it.
I'm not.
Right.
And you're feeling
You're
it.
hiding from it.
Right.
Yep.
And it was new to me. And I still can't co-sign the whole, you're growing through it. But I comprehend it a little more now that the sting is a little further away from what it once was. But yeah, lessons.
Yeah.
And I'm present for it. And I'm experiencing it. And you know what? The other side of it is the reason it hurt so bad is it was real. It was a real thing, you know?
There's a lesson in this too. The next time I see you coming, I'm booking because I know what you're going to try and do. You've only been trying to get me to do this for a couple of years.
I have.
But it's not because of deterring from it. It's just, it was the right moment because I was just in school again for my job right down the road. And I had to bounce in and see Paul and Carolyn because I hadn't seen them for a great.
Right.
And
Time.
then you were right there and said, here, let me show you this. You know, I felt it.
Is that how you roped this guy in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fish hooked him.
I had a daredevil stuck in my cheek, pulling me this way.
You know, he got me, right?
I
You said
couldn't.
you
I
were
used.
sure.
Oh, I co-signed you. I did. I was like, well, Rom's gonna be on. We have an open mic, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to with Rom.
Well, I
Well,
said, let me look at my calendar.
yeah, you did. Yeah.
And then I didn't even think about it. It was Valentine's Day. That happened after.
Yeah, because then I got a call from Brad with the wife and mom in the car,
Oh yeah.
making sure I knew I was stealing him on their Valentine's Day,
Oh yeah.
but they were okay with it.
You took me too.
You were in the car too?
I wasn't
No.
in the car.
Oh, no,
but
I
you took
took
me
you.
from them too. But it's
No
okay.
one
I
else
came
I'd rather
willingly.
spend my Valentine's with than you guys.
I came willingly.
Yes, and I appreciate it. I really do. I love having you in the house. This thing though, the emotions, I think where it's a cold piece, but you know what it is, and I am grateful I have them. It's
Right.
part of who I am today, and it's
That's because you feel.
yes,
I get to feel my feels today.
Right.
yeah, and it's something I would have made the fun out of. I would be if I could have a conversation. The old me would have such a great laugh at who I am today, pointing fingers, making fun of, and out of fear.
100%.
Out of fear.
Mhm.
I know now that's what it was back then when I was not addressing feelings or whatever it is. But this
Big tough
program,
guy.
yeah,
See, and in recovery, okay, in relation to fear, you know, there's such a thing as healthy fear
yep,
because we're still going into the unknown, but there's not danger, but there's still fear of the unknown
Yeah.
until you overcome that and you just go.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's almost a mic drop right there.
Right?
You almost got the mic drop on.
Kaboom.
So
You want me to
this
drop it?
that sounded like it went downstairs. So here's the point in the show. Wow, we've been going almost over 2 hours. See how?
It's
It's been 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours and 10 minutes. See, time flies when you're
Wow.
superstars. See, Romney, it wasn't that bad. But see, all the stars aligned. And ever since, I wanted to say this on air, from the day I heard you sharing at 2218, because I was riding about a year prior to your accident. And when I heard about it, instantly I'm like, dude probably wasn't paying attention. I didn't know you. I seen you at meetings. That's just what we do. No, just hang
How
on.
did you know about my writing style?
I didn't. Yeah. But no, I think someone's like, yeah, did you hear about Romney went down again? I'm like, again? They're like, yeah, he's hit some animals and he's been through some deer. And I was on my little custom, that, little death trap. And I think I had a close call. And after that, it was like everything changed in my head about riding. It was like within 3 months of riding, I had a real close call and everything changed for me. And I was like, without knowing you, I was like, God, I hope that guy's okay. And I was in my feelings about it, and I was following everyone.
Right here.
Yeah, he's here, strong, loud, and proud. And then when they're like, he's going to be this, it was right before or right after we started the podcast that year's Ride for Recovery. You were the main speaker, and I heard you, and I was like, I want him on. And I had a co-host at the time. He's like, oh, I know Rom, I'll get him on. And I believe he goes at things in a different way, and he's got a different history, whatever the case is. The time wasn't right when he approached you, I believe. God, I'm trying to be so politically correct right now.
I don't remember it. So,
but whatever the case was, is like I didn't have words. I think after I came up and said thanks for sharing, because it was a powerful share. You were just fresh back into life with all what you went through. Like some of this, you shared the story about one of your friends that you helped when he passed away. It was a real powerful share. I was like, I want him on. I wanted you on since. So yeah, when I saw you back here and it was just the two of us, I was like, I know him now.
okay.
I don't think I'm out of line now.
See, if you look at the word hostage,
I took you hostage.
You don't worry about it because I'm willing. It's all good.
Yeah, you're not an old girlfriend. I don't have to hold people hostage anymore. But yeah, I just thank you for coming on. Thank you for answering the call and coming on, both of you.
And you didn't even say who it was, and I knew it.
I know you
go, okay, I'm stuck.
Yeah. And whatever, like I said, everything gets us to the point we're at right now, and I gotta believe it's all for a good reason.
It is.
I'd walk with Romney anywhere.
Yep.
And I would regret because we've done it. And we'll continue to do it, won't we?
Just the reality of it, right? Like no matter what, if there's something that's on my mind, I know Romney's he's one of my first phone calls, dude. I mean, probably almost before my sponsor in most cases. Nothing against my sponsor.
No.
I love him to death.
I love Chris.
I love him to death. He's a great guy. Yeah. He helps me through a lot of things, right? But sometimes Romney's, if I know I'm going through something, I know he's going to pick up the phone no matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what. When he sees my name, he stops his bike and picks up his phone. If he sees
I'll answer it. I'll hit the handlebar and I'll go, hang on, I'm pulling over.
So this is the part in the show that we start wrapping up. And I've got two final questions for all three of you. And we're going to start with you, Greta.
Okay.
I think you've answered this before. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh. Right now, school's not fun. I hate school. And this is coming from a kid who used to say, I love school. This is coming from the kid that would go up to her mom during COVID, give her an empty notebook and say, write down math problems for me. Because I've always thought in numbers. I always say it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'd say if I could not have any homework in science and reading.
Just science and reading.
And social studies is fine. No.
Just science, math, social studies, reading, English. No.
It's more like
that's not a superpower.
I wish I could be able to.
She can have whatever superpower she wants.
So I read a lot. I have a different one. I'm realizing now I got a better one. I read a lot. You know this. I was about to pull out my phone halfway through the show and start reading.
Books?
Mm-hmm.
I love
Books. I love books. I've read almost 100 books.
I'm lazy. I use Audible and listen to books.
I would too, yeah.
I can't listen to them.
Really?
My brain doesn't recite it right. I can't, that's why I
You can't get into it. See,
and
I'm
my
the other
brain,
way.
I have, if I'm going to listen to an audiobook, I have to be laying down by myself in a room with nobody in it, clothed, and it has to be pitch black.
This is
because
where
I-
we have different mind. You're healthy, and I shouldn't say it that way, but I'm
You're a
the
mess.
but like here's the thing. I'm exactly the opposite. The only time I've ever read a book was in jail because there's nothing if I right now I would have to read. Everything's silent. I'd have to have no obligations. My brain can't shut off. When I'm reading, it's over here. I have to read a page 30 times. I listen to books while working all day and I comprehend it. It's the weirdest thing. My mom's like you. She said, I can't listen to books. Like I can't focus on, like, she's like, I'd have to stop, turn out the lights, like what you're saying.
I have to be completely silent because I'm gonna look around like this entire time. I was just looking around because my brain, it doesn't work that, like my brain, I get really distracted easily.
Mhm.
So I go off into little tangents in between. That's why I'm trying to really stay on topic right now.
Oh, you're almost like one of us in that way, but
if I could be able to explain what I'm reading, if that makes sense. So I can explain to you a book I like. I could explain to you in detail every single Harry Potter book, front and back. I have done it.
I have a present for you before you leave. Remind me.
Really?
Yeah, Harry
Okay.
Potter present.
So, for Christmas when I was 10, Dad and Heather and Joanne, they got me the entire set of Harry Potter. I could not get in the first book, and it took me a long time to do it. But Dad made a deal with me that if I read all the book front and back and I wrote an essay about it, he would give me $20. I don't think he realized that I read books way too quickly. And I wasn't writing essays after them, so I wrote all the essays in one go and gave them all to him. So he had to give me like $100 at one time.
Child of Brad. He's like, yeah,
Looking
yeah.
for the big ticket.
So your superpower is to be able to explain anything you read.
that I don't like. So like in reading class,
So if she doesn't like it, she doesn't comprehend
Oh,
it.
I
Nope.
see what you're saying. Okay, I
If
see what
it's
you're
Can't
not-
saying.
get into it.
if
So
it's
like,
not,
okay,
yeah.
teacher, I read it. Here's the outcome, and never have to pick the book up.
Yep.
I like
Well,
that.
I have to pick the book up because unfortunately I love books and I love reading, but
I'm glad to know.
I
this.
hate doing it out loud. Don't tell me to read a book out loud, do you?
Is
if I'm
it-
alone,
Can you
yeah.
read it way quicker, just quiet, like
Mhm.
without saying it out loud?
Like I finished the second book of Percy Jackson in one day. It's the Sea of Monsters. I finished it in one day at Dad's house because we weren't doing anything that day. I picked up the book and read it in one day.
So
one
even
day.
if there's stuff going on in the house, people are cleaning, you can just focus in.
I won't hear them or anything. I'll
My
just
mom
be
said,
completely
How
away.
do people do that, guys?
I don't know. I can't.
By looking at picture books.
Yeah, that's
It's
like,
not picture
yeah,
books.
exactly. No, that's how we can do it.
I think
That's how we can do it. Is
I
there has to
think
be
the
pictures.
reason why I can do it is because I can see the pictures in my head.
You make up your own movie.
I also can't. I hate
Yeah, they turned some of
watching.
those books into movies.
You know what? And here's my last question about that: is what was better, the Harry Potter movies or the books?
the books. I hate the
Real
movies.
reader. She's a real reader.
Okay,
Same with the Twilight series.
I never read or watched Twilight. I've never
I've
read
listened
or
to all the
Don't get her
Twilight,
started yet, Tim. I ain't ready to buy another book series.
and them ones aren't cheap. And there's just as many of those
I
as there
don't
are
care.
Harry
Well,
Potters.
okay, I have
don't care
Kindle.
if they're cheap.
I have Kindle
You
Unlimited
already know
now.
that about
I
me.
know. I know.
I can read them all on my phone now because Mom got me Kindle Unlimited.
Oh yeah.
It's just all on my phone, so it's really tiny, so it hurts my eyes sometimes. That's why I stop halfway. Like, if during every
Just take your
after.
screen and expand the
Yeah, I make the letters really big for it, but I want to get like an actual Kindle. But after
Like a
every chapter,
tablet type Kindle.
yeah,
like mine is all big. See, and I can make it bigger.
That's old
Yeah,
people stuff.
when I read, it's like that too. But after every chapter, I do a lap around the house. So when I read books, I get really excited and I get really into them. I start pacing around and I read books at like 1 a.m. So
So like most of us got yelled at, turn the damn TV off. Dad's like, put the book down and go to
I
bed.
have to tell her to put her book down all the
Yep.
time.
Oh darn, what a terrible thing.
or when I'm at my mom's
Lucky.
house, my brother's underneath me because we have two
Bump,
floors.
yeah, yeah.
So he's underneath me in the basement,
Oh.
and I'm right on top of him. And right where I walk, like where I pace in my room, is where his bed is. and he has work in the morning. So he'll come up in my room because my phone's on do not disturb as soon as it's 10 o'clock.
Right.
So he'll come up in my room half asleep, just like, Greta, I am asking you kindly, shut up. So then I turn off the lights because then I know I won't get up. Because then I can't see, so I'll trip over something.
You're the best. Thank
Yeah.
you for that. Real quick,
You're
and
welcome.
if I miss you, don't. It's not personal, but as always, like Jalissa, thank you so much for the support, and Heather and Carolyn and Charles, Chucky the soap man. Hey, you know what, guys out there? We got a guy here. His name is Chuck Edwards. He is the soap man. If you listened last week to the show, you know all about it. It's the soap of hope. Come on down to the center. It's homemade. It's prayed into. It's prayed over and prayed on. He'll give you the soap. He just, if you got a penny, give it to him towards it. Some people have given him $50 bills for a bar of soap, and some people are like, I don't have no money, and he hands them soap. There's no price tag on it, but anyone you hear talk about using that soap, that's the last soap they've used because they keep re-getting it. It's very, very good product. If you're interested in it, you can reach out to me. I'll get you some, and then if you like it, you can come back and get more. But Paul, Jacob, Jeremy, Sam, Sam Beast, Blazy stopped on. Everyone, you know what? Daniel and Tom and Jennifer, Charles. Like I said, I've got tons of people who popped on tonight. I'm grateful for all of you. John Anderson was on. Bryce was on.
Johnny.
This show doesn't move forward without the support of all you guys, and we're grateful for you guys. As always, like, smash that like button, share it, and happy Valentine's Day. And now back to the show. Romney, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Power and me I don't go there. I don't have any power.
I could tell you are a superpower, dude.
No.
You walk in these rooms to other
I'm
people.
only just me.
And to some of us, not pedestaling you, but to some of us, you are a superpower. You are to me.
No, I'm just me, Tim. That's it. Just like my sponsor, there's so many similarities with my current sponsor, Greg C from the We Are Here area. He says the same thing. He's just him. But everywhere he is, just like me, I'm just me. I just get to be a part of.
Well, damn it, you take the fun out of this game of like flying or transporting or Brad, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I got a couple, but
Come on.
Of course he does.
I want to be able to be invisible.
Oh, you know, I
Completely
could do
invisible.
that.
No, because then you're gonna.
Oh, wait. What'd you say? No, what? What'd you say?
He's gonna tease me. He's gonna sneak up behind me and just start hitting me, and I'll be like, "Who the heck are you?"
Look at him shaking
That's
his
my
head.
favorite thing in the world is to
Be a
to
ninja?
be, like,
On the-
completely transparent, not be seen, right? To be able to just be in a room and hear and see.
But
I think there's some
you are
deeper-
transparent, Brad.
Well, I know, but
Come on.
So you want to be a
invisible.
stalker?
I wanna be-
You stole the words away.
You want to be a stalker?
My other one was flying. Was my second one because I always.
I've done enough of that. No, that's not cool. You don't want to fly.
But if you have control, that's always been mine was flying. But
Control. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want any control.
Control?
well,
Tim, if you use the word control too much around me, I will tell you, you just wait. I'll be right back. I'm going to run down to Walgreens or CVS, buy 2 boxes of X-Lax, and you're going to eat it, and I'll lock the bathroom door.
I love these guys.
I won't have
We
any
love you
control,
too.
Tim, I promise.
Thank you. So, name of this show is called Attitude for Gratitude. And the final question I ask the people who come on the show is what you're grateful for. Let's start with you, Brad. What are you grateful for?
First and foremost, every morning I'm grateful for my recovery. Second, and every day ever, every waking moment other than that is to be a good father. Those are the two main things I'm grateful for.
You are.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking cry on here, man. Serious. Rom, name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude. What does your gratitude look like today?
My gratitude begins as soon as my eyes open. Number one, I'm clean and I'm alive. And when I walk into my bedroom, a little desk on the right, the first piece on the one corner is my gratitude list. It doesn't go away. I am grateful for every part of my life.
Yeah. Greta,
Beautiful.
let's hear about your gratitude, young lady.
I'm grateful for my family,
Mhm.
but I'm also grateful for my best friend, Kira. She has been with me since kindergarten, second day of kindergarten. We met on the bus. She was just going through a very hard time, and I was and we both sat there and just cried with each other because
Oh,
over text I saved her from killing herself. So that was something that really hurt. But that's probably the one thing is just them, my friends, because they've helped a lot without doing anything.
awesome. I love you kids. So tonight we did bring up I know Brad talked about something in his earlier
Okay,
recovery.
camera's gone.
Ah, damn. I have a hidden one up there.
Get down.
My
please
kind of
don't.
show.
Thank you.
It was brought up earlier. Brad talked about when he was in his early recovery, talking about putting a gun in his mouth. And I know Greta just brought up about a friend with some. If you're having any thoughts of self-harm or anything like that, please reach out. We know mental health is a real thing and struggling is a real thing. I put a hotline on the screen. So if you know anyone struggling with stuff like that, please have them reach out. Like if no one's told you you're worth this life, you've heard us talking all night for 2.5 hours about a good life. And it's here for the taking. So come get a piece of this. It's here for the taking.
And we could probably go for another 4 hours if we wanted to. Couldn't we?
Probably.
100%.
I feel like I just got here. So
Yeah.
big deal.
That's
like
the
10
joys
minutes.
of this. That's when people are like, "Oh, you went how long?" I'm like, I don't look at the clock. I just know when it's about wrap up time. I start talking about wrap up, and some shows are 45 minutes and some are 3 hours.
Is there a clock?
I just put up a Mario Brothers clock the other day, but I can't see it from my angle.
You can't see it from my angle.
No, but I have a little red bar that says I've been live for
A
2
long
hours
time.
and 27 minutes. But no, serious. If you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. You're worth this life. Like you're worth having this life. And if no one's told you, like I love you, you're loved. It's come to these rooms, check out what you heard us talk about, this fellowship, and like we're welcoming, and you never have to be alone again, nor do you ever have to pick up ever again.
This program's taught me that there's no reason, none.
No, I always say that nowadays. Like, you got good enough reason, call me and I'm buying. I'll buy.
I think I've told you that one.
I think I stole that from
I've done that with sponsees over time.
Yeah.
They'll call me and say, I'm really close. Right down the road, I'm picking up. I go, well, where are you? And they'll tell me, I go, okay, I know where that is. I'll be right there. I'm going to, I want to catch one too.
Yeah.
And then click.
100%.
And a couple hours later, they'll call me an effort.
Yeah.
Because now they're at home.
Right.
They didn't pick up.
Yep.
Because it's a win-win, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can give me a good enough reason,
I'll come with you.
I'll come with you.
You
I-
got that, Brad.
He was trying to show you a little love. He was like,
Coming with you.
so yeah, you heard he lost his parents. I lost my brother at 9 months. We go through some of the heaviest shit I've ever been through was in recovery. That's when I realized this shit worked, was that 9 months. All I was concerned about was my mom and his friends. Like, damn, they must be hurting and da. Never, and we had a celebration life at a bar. People are getting high and do that. Never once did I even think like, fuck, I want to get twisted, or it just wasn't a thought. And I was like, wow, this shit works.
Right?
Recovery works.
It does. If you work it.
And I
At
was
9
all in.
months, Tim, did you go through that by yourself or did somebody come with you?
Absolutely not.
You had support when you went, didn't you?
100%.
See, that's why
Together.
we got
Oh,
a
yeah.
shot.
I was at my sponsor's house mowing his grass. Like, isn't that what you do? No, but I was at his house mowing his grass.
I got about 5 acres. You
He came out and told me the news. He's like, hey, so-and-so called your family and your brother passed. Like, let's go to your house. And I'll share it on air. And it was a selfish thought, but the whole ride to my house, we had about a half-hour lapse. And I was saying, if I can't believe I lost my brother. I lost him. I lost him. And in my head, I'm like, wow, people are going to be feeling bad for me, and I'm going to get some sympathy. And this was unhealthy. I know it was.
You were 9 months clean.
This is
I
what
don't
was
expect
told,
you to be too healthy.
This is what was going through my head. And
Slightly self-centered.
all within this 9 months, by the 5 miles from the house, my sponsor, love him. Tim, you know your mom lost her son today. Fucking the whole world. I was like, damn.
Just exploded it.
Everything changed in that moment, and the trajectory of everything on how things. I was like, holy shit! It all changed.
100%.
Everything changed right there. It was because I was with someone.
Mhm.
Because I would have, if I was alone, who knows? Maybe be high right now. Who knows? Maybe dead. Maybe my mom would be burying her second son. You know what I'm saying? Like this. You're right. I'm glad you brought that up. Never alone.
Brad, I'll call you when I get home because I will be alone for a ways. Just kidding.
All right. I know I keep going back to this emo shit, but serious, you don't have to do this shit alone. You've heard us talk about it time and time again. So tomorrow, Lake Phelan ice fishing, real recovery. Nicole's event is going on tomorrow. We got Minac coming up. We got the podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. You want to be on the show, reach out to me. Come on down. Last Friday every month. It's free for all. I'd love to have you come on and share some of your story. If you have ideas for the show, if you want to see it take some other directions, whatever the case is, this isn't my show. It's your guys' show. Jeff S., thank you for hopping on tonight and supporting the show. Everyone else, if I didn't mention you, you know I love you. Greta, thanks for being in the house.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Romney, thank you for being here.
You're welcome, brother.
Bradley, love you, buddy. Thanks for being here.
having me.
Till next week, boys and girls. We love you. Thanks.
Love you.
Love you.
Yeah.